Good afternoon, everybody, from Right Side Broadcasting Network. This is Studio A, and I am Matthew Alvarez. It is great to see you guys once again right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Of course, always getting wall-to-wall coverage of everything President Trump, but also if there's other news going on in Washington, if there's something with a congressional hearing. There's so many different topics and different stories that are covered here at Right Side, but we know that today is going to be a huge day because President Trump is actually starting a 3-day tour on the West Coast. So campaign stops in Phoenix, which we'll get to live as we have a crew out there, about 1,700 miles from our location here in Alabama. But we could also tell you that California will be a few spots there that he'll stop. And then wrapping up that West Coast tour will be on Sunday, on June 9th with Vanessa Broussard and Paul and Gracia live there. So you came to the right place. There's a lot of selection out there, right? But you know what you'll get at Right Side Broadcasting Network. You will get people that love God, love this country, love freedom, love the Constitution, and that is what we're all about. Also, within the framework of that Constitution, freedom of speech. That's what Right Side Broadcasting Network is all about, and that is what President Trump is all about. Think about it. I mean, he's a conservative candidate that is basically trying to restore the Constitution to a country that already has the Constitution as its law. A lot of lawlessness going on out there. Of course, we'll get to those topics in just a bit. Once again, a 3-state tour on the West Coast. We'll have some live coverage from Phoenix here in just a few minutes as our camera is there live at a TPUSA event. So that's Turning Point Action, where Charlie Kirk will have some, as you take that live look right there, we'll have the president. Also, what we're hearing about this event is that President Trump will actually take a Q&A session with the audience. Unless that has changed since the last time I checked on that TPUSA website, it may have changed. But we do know he'll definitely be doing a speech there at Dream City Church. You're looking live right now. You can see the words "Chase the Vote." That's Phoenix, Arizona. As you can see on your screen, 5 p.m. Eastern Time is when the 45th president will take to the stage. Speaking of president, well, today marks a very somber anniversary, 80th anniversary for D-Day in Normandy, France. For any of you veterans out there that are watching today, all of us at Right Side Broadcasting Network and other viewers that were not part of the military, we honestly and sincerely thank you for your service and thank you for what was done on that day back in 1944, some 80 years ago. The other guy, Biden, was there live today, and it must be something to hear from someone who is so far from the truth, so anti-Constitution, so anti-military. He's okay with the military having woke leaders try and trickle down to all of the troops or the airmen or the Marines or the Coast Guard or Space Force or wherever, you know. That's the thing that must have bothered a number of people there in Normandy, France. But once again, we thank you for your service, for those of you that are veterans that are watching, and also to those of you in law enforcement, no matter what your background is, thank you for at least trying to do some law and order. Obviously, this country needs it desperately, and that's why we're in the situation we're in right now. We've got so many problems around the country right now. As you know, it's preaching to the choir. The southern border's a mess. Even the northern border is not doing well. I was in New York City just last couple weeks ago in the Bronx, if you remember that live coverage. You know, to fear going onto a subway train because you might get pushed onto the tracks is something that is unbelievable. How is stuff like that happening, right? So we need law and order back. What we also need back is our value in currency. The United States dollar, man, I'll tell you, the BRICS nations, they're really trying to devalue the US dollar. Anywhere from Brazil or Russia, India, China, South Africa, and that list is growing. There is an organization, as you guys have heard here on Right Side Broadcasting Network, but we don't repeat this because it's something that is just a repeat. It's actually true. Getting gold and metals, precious metals and silver is something that you can do, and you see that information right there on your screen. This is Birch Gold Group. Text Trump to 9998. That's Trump to 989898. At least get some info kit and some information on the current situation, and to see if that's something you can do is to have your dollars backed in some gold assets or those precious metals and silver. I mean, it's good to have that backup plan, right? You hope for the best, you prepare for the worst. Well, this is a little bit of both right there with Birch Gold Group. I actually spoke with one of the spokespeople at the group there just earlier today, and you'll be seeing some of that interview as days move forward. But this is something that these people are doing in effort to assist Americans that will be concerned about their financial backing. So that right there, you see the number on your screen, text Trump to 9998. Well, as we know, the polls all across the country, especially those battleground states, right? I mean, can you believe it? The amount of lead that President Trump has over Joe Biden, the Sleepy Joe, Crooked Joe, whatever name you'd like, is a wide margin. So you might see a 0.4% lead or a 2% lead, that kind of thing. Let's be honest, 81 million votes, you know what? There's no way that 81 million votes happen in 2020. So here we are in 2024. We're less than 6 months. I think it's 5 months and 30 days to be exact, until November 5th. This election's around the corner. As you know, President Trump getting attacked on all sides by the left. It's just ridiculous at this point. So what do? There's a number of things I think we can do, right? We can pray, we can work hard, we can work with great groups like True the Vote or Cause of America or precinctstrategy.com. These are great organizations that are trying to do their best to have a secure election. On top of that, Trump Force 47 and Swamp the Vote USA, and Save the Vote USA as well, brought out by the Trump campaign just recently. These are awesome situations where you can figure out, hey, how can I help there be election security? How can I get plugged into the right place? So all you have to do is go to donaldjtrump.com and then search on there for the different announcements in the news section, where you'll learn more information about Trump Force 47. Be a part of it. Some of you out there ask the question, how can I really play a role? All I have is my vote. Well, first of all you have is your vote is a great thing, right? It's so awesome to be able to be in a country where you can vote for your leaders, right? Well, we hope in 24 that Christina Bobb won't have to write another book about stealing your vote, right, with what happened in 2020. So 2024, we're just wanting to see a free and fair election. And that is exactly what we'll have if we continue to work hard, do the best we can, and also sign up for things like Trump Force 47 or True the Vote, Cause of America, precinctstrategy.com. Do your part, even if it's in that small area. It'll still help when it comes November 5th, but also prior to that. We've got the early voting. President Trump has been open about saying, hey, listen, we want you to vote on Election Day. He's also saying, let's also flood the polls in the sense of sending our ballots, our single one-person vote ballot, when you do have that early voting as an option as well. I know there's people on both sides of the issue on that, but at the end of the day, let's get it from all sides in the sense of voting for our next president, which, it's interesting as you take that live look there. Once again, that's Dream Center or Dream City Church in Phoenix, Arizona. That's the Chase the Vote event that will have President Trump speaking at 5 o'clock Eastern time. In Phoenix, that's 2 o'clock. Usually with daylight savings, they're only 2 hours behind, but they're on it right now where it is 3 hours. So they are on the same time zone, of course, as LA or San Francisco, which, by the way, President Trump, of course, will be making quick stops in California, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast. And then on top of that, in Nevada, Las Vegas, again, our Vanessa Broussard, Paul Ingracio will be there live, giving you that wall-to-wall coverage as we move forward closer and closer to not only the election. The debates are going to be on June 27th, not too far away from that. And then July 11th, the lawfare situation that we're dealing with the sentencing for President Trump. Now, that's ridiculous that I even have to say something like that. I was thinking about the words hush money earlier today, and hush money. and crime, that doesn't even go together. If there's a business transaction and all that, what? So, I mean, obviously, I know a lot of you are feeling the same way about that. So that is July 11th. And then, of course, we'll have July 15th in Milwaukee. The RNC will also take place there. And what you're looking at on your screen is exactly what we're dealing with in our country right now. We see that the hat says, as it turns right there, "Make America Great Again." But why is it in the dark black? It's because it's been a dark day in our country, as you all have seen, as I have seen too. I know I'm in a studio right now. Usually I'm out there live in the field. That's how I've got to know a number of you that follow me on Truth Social as well, at Matthew Alvarez, also at RSBN if you'd like on Truth Social. But you see that hat there. All you got to do is text HAT to 88022, and you can get that hat sent to you as well. Obviously a dark day in America, but that's what I like about this hat. It shows, hey, this is where we're at right now, but there's a message, the content that you see on that hat right there, "Make America Great Again." I know a lot of you have the red hat out there, I do too, and it's not something to be ashamed of. If you look on my Truth Social I posted the other day, at Matthew Alvarez, this pilot from Delta Airlines, he had an American flag tie on, and I struck up a conversation with him, and he's joined Truth Social, and he's a supporter of President Trump, and that's awesome to see. So this is what it's about, not being ashamed of the situation that we're dealing with. There's nothing to be ashamed of, let's be real. Ooh, get canceled. Who cares? Canceled, schmanceled, it doesn't matter. The left-wing media, all they do is try and take people down, but people know now what the truth is, right? We know that freedom and the Constitution and family and our love for God and our love for this land, this is very simple stuff. And it's basically, I'll just say it, it's cutting through the crap. It really is. When you talk truth, it's just sharp. It gets to the point. Am I perfect? Is anybody perfect? No, but the point is, we know that the truth will set you free, and we're forgiven through Jesus Christ. So it is pretty awesome to be here. It says Phoenix, Arizona in the top corner. That's not where I am, but that's where we will be going live to, as TPUSA has an awesome event today. Once again, that's Chase the Vote. You could see many people from Arizona there and around the Southwest United States, as Charlie Kirk will take the stage. President Trump will take the stage. Should be a great speech, just as recently when I saw him in the Bronx. I mean, a lot of times the left-wing media says that the supporters of President Trump are only white people. Let's be honest, that's not true. It's all people from all backgrounds are supporters of President Trump. We've seen it not only on social media, we see it boots on the ground, we see the polls. I mean, am I talking truth or not, right? You have to have the truth, and that is what is awesome to do when you're on a conservative media outlet, because you can't do this if you worked in a left-wing fake news media, which I did for 20 years. There was no situation there with the fake news to really be able to speak your heart or your mind. And so to have conservative media is that outlet. That's why they call it an outlet, right? This is an outlet to kind of just share with you, the American people. I'm not reading a teleprompter here. This is all just straight from the heart, because I know that this country is dealing with a lot right now. It's very turbulent times, and we are really hoping for things to turn around. And that's why there's a number of places in the conservative media, whether podcasters or right here, Right Side Broadcasting Network, which is a great network. Think about it. I mean, back in 2015, when it started, talk about grassroots, and talk about not being bought and paid for, and also talk about not being an insider. Right Side Broadcasting Network is an outsider. So is Donald J. Trump. So are we the people. We don't want any more of this insider baseball, insider trading, only lining the pockets of certain politicians, trying to push wars around the world, try and take away our freedoms and our rights. We obviously don't want that. So what we have as Americans, we the people, as you know, are the boss, right? We're the ones that can fire and hire our political leaders. So that's what we're looking to do, of course, on November 5th, is to fire, as President Trump says, Joe Biden, and to hire President Trump. Why why hire someone that is a great person like President Trump? Why do that? Well, you know, some of you watching right now are saying, okay, you're so into Trump and all that. Well, I'm riffing here because I'm just being honest with you guys. I know that just seeing him the other day on a video meeting with people at Mar-a-Lago, is a genuine guy. He's a cool guy, right? But also, look what happened between 2016 and 2020. I don't care if it was Joe Montana or Wayne Gretzky, for those of you sports fans out there, Michael Jordan, I don't care who it was. Somebody did great things between 2016 and 2020. It happened to be Donald J. Trump. That's it. And then on top of that, he's a cool, he's a cool character, right? He's fun. He makes you laugh even at rallies. He's going through so much, but he's still doing great things for this country. So what do we have now, right? The comparison is unbelievable. We have, as I read the other day, I think it's the Palm Beach playbook. It said something like chaos through weakness. Chaos through weakness. And so that was referring to Joe Biden, Bidenomics, Bidenflation, all the things that he's doing incorrectly, right? So we have chaos through weakness, not only here, but around the world. The foreign policy mistakes, the domestic mistakes, the verbal mistakes left and right that this guy does, who is supposed to be the leader of the free world. Then you fast forward, or you even rewind, to peace through strength with President Trump. But let's go right now live, as I'm being told that there's something going on right now in Phoenix. Let's go there live.
Jen? Michael. My name is Lacey Nagao. I'm so excited to be here as our new Chase the Vote director and share with you guys a little bit about our Chase the Vote program.
Yes. All of you right now should have under your seats, or should have gotten on the way in, a pamphlet about downloading our Turning Point Action app. It is so critical that you download the TP Action app. Go on the App Store. I see some of you guys pulling out your phones right now. Do yourselves a favor today. Go on the App Store, download the TP Action app. Do it today. Not tomorrow, not when you get home, today. And here is where you can become the key activist in your neighborhood that we need you to be this year. Lacey's going to tell us all about that.
All right, so walking inside today, raise your hand. Who stopped at our tables? Okay, good. We have a few tables out there, right? So you can go to our tables, register to become a precinct committee person, register to get involved just on the local level. But you probably noticed we're also hiring today on the spot, because our goal with Chase the Vote is to hire hundreds of ballot chasers across Arizona and Wisconsin to assure that we win this November.
We're truly building out the largest and most robust get out the vote operation that the conservative movement has ever seen. Show of hands, who's been to a Turning Point Action event before? Awesome. Awesome. This October, this fall, we're going to be unleashing the biggest round of get out the vote events that you've ever seen. The Super Saturday model, as we know it, we're taking that to the next level, because as we all know, if you only work on Saturdays, that's not cutting it anymore. We're going to be holding what we call Super Chase events 4 or 5 times a week during this fall. Yep, we can clap for that, yeah. 4 or 5 times a week, making sure that we get out low propensity conservative voters that are not voting. This is relational organizing at its finest. This is moving away from the traditional transactional model that the Republican Party apparatus has taken on over the last couple of years, and completely moving it to a paradigm shift. We want you all to become the CEOs of your neighborhood for the conservative movement. I'll say it again. We want you to become the CEOs of your neighborhood for the conservative movement.
Yes, clap for that. Brett, that is exactly right. One thing that I love is we're having moms talk to other moms. We're focusing on Latinos talking to other Latinos, right? Yes, we are doing this very authentically. And I came up with this mad idea to get involved in politics because I'm a mom of 3 little kids. And I realized I couldn't be quiet anymore. And I think that's many of us in this room today. So let's make sure that we go to www.tpaction.com/get-involved. You can sign up there to be a volunteer with us, and one of our amazing reps will reach out to you. And speaking of our reps, let's give all of our staff a big round of applause. We could not do this without our events team, our field team, our admin team. I saw Lauren, who's our events director, down here at 1 a.m. putting these bike racks on herself. So it is truly grassroots when these things come together.
We have a unique opportunity on our hands here in Arizona. We no longer see this as a war of persuasion among swing voters. We see this as a war of making sure that every single conservative and their mother gets out to vote. And that's what we call ballot chasing. It's a chase to make sure that every one of our people gets out the vote. Here in Arizona specifically, we're one of maybe 3 or 4 states that actually matter in the grand scheme of things that are going to make or break the future of this country. Arizona, Wisconsin, Georgia, Michigan. I don't care what anyone else says. This is the battleground. At Turning Point Action, we believe that battles for America are not won in Washington, D.C., but they're won in your own backyard, which puts an added emphasis on becoming those neighborhood leaders that we need you to be. Win your neighborhood, win your state, win your country. If each and every one of you owned your street, which you'll have the chance to do on the Turning Point Action app, and we'll talk about that in just a sec. If each of you owned your street, we would take back this country.
Okay, I want everyone to grab your phone. We're going to pray that we have some service in here. And pull up your app store and download the TP Action app. It's the blue one. Make sure you don't download the TP USA app because that is different. And as many of you have seen, you can immediately knock doors. You know who the Republicans are in your neighborhood instantly. You can send text. You can write postcards. You can write letters. You can make phone calls. We truly try to make this app so anyone can use it. And I truly believe we need far less of the 10 people making 10,000 phone calls, and we need 10,000 of us to make 10 phone calls. That is what will change, and that is how we will win this November.
Do yourselves a favor as well. Go to coalitions.com. That's us, coalitions.com. And join one of our coalitions. We've started a faith coalition, a Latinos coalition, a Blacks coalition, a Catholics coalition, a Moms coalition. And what Lacey alluded to earlier, we want moms knocking on the doors of other moms, Catholics knocking on the doors of other Catholics, Latinos knocking on the doors of other Latinos. From a messaging standpoint, we believe this is the remedy to attacking some of those low propensity conservative voters that are not getting out and voting. So please do that. The app is a wonderful one-stop shop for all of you to do that. So if you're going to take away nothing else from what I'm telling you here today, I want it to be, please download the TP Action app and start talking with your neighbors. It's super easy. Hi, I'm so-and-so. I live down the block. I wanted to introduce myself to my Republican neighbors. Let me be your point of contact for the neighborhood. And then it's much more likely to get that person to turn in their absentee ballot to vote when it's coming from someone who they know, that they trust, that's in their neighborhood. Instead of a random stranger showing up at their door, asking them what issues they care about or whatever it may be, it's coming from a neighbor. Again, CEO of your neighborhood for the Republican Party.
And lastly, I just wanted to make sure that when you download the app, put in your phone number, all right? You're going to click on that top left arrow, and then you're immediately going to see the closest Republicans to you based on your location. And when the time comes, and this is what really sets us apart, is we have everything driven by data. So I don't want you to just be knocking aimlessly on doors. Our app is going to tell you what ballots to chase and where when that time comes. And that is what we're doing. We are hiring those ballot chasers full time. So if you would, if you're at all interested, We are hiring hundreds right outside today, doing initial interviews. Make sure you go complete an application, and we'll make sure to get in touch with you.
And if you don't feel compelled to come work for us, we want you to come volunteer with us. We need all hands on deck. I have a call to action for all you grassroots patriots out there. Listen up, folks. I have a major call to action. If you have friends and family in your lives that are just as pumped up about the conservative movement as you are, and they're not here, they're not thinking about getting involved, they don't know how to get involved, it's up to you to be those voices in their lives to help them take that leap of faith and get on board. Coalitions.com, download the TP Action app, tpaction.com/get involved. There are countless ways that you can walk out of here with a purpose today to save our country so your kids and their kids and their kids do not have to explain why they live in a socialist country to their future grandkids. That's what we're chasing, folks. Thank you all so much. We appreciate each and every one of you. Charlie Kirk and Donald J. Trump are in the house. Thank you guys very much.
As you were just watching there live in Phoenix, as our RSBN crew is there, 1,700 miles west of our location here in Alabama. You saw a couple speakers there. We'll have President Trump as well at 5 o'clock Eastern time. That's 4 Central and 2 out there on the West Coast. Have confirmed that there will be a Q&A with President Trump. And let's throw it back once again right there to a speaker that's taking the stage.
Hello, everybody. What a great day. I'll tell you. Who's ready to see President Trump give his first speech post-show trial? I'll tell you what, this is I love the never surrender mugshots. I love it. I have never seen the MAGA base as fired up as you are right now. I've never seen it. And who got here first, by the way? There were some people here at 5 a.m. There's a 4 a.m. Patriot. By the way, I know it was a lot of heat, a lot of waiting, but be thankful that you got a seat, because there are a lot of people outside that I don't know if they're actually going to be able to get seats. So today is the 80-year anniversary of D-Day. The 80-year anniversary of one of the most important moments in American history, when the greatest generation stormed the beaches of Normandy to fight for our freedoms and confront evil. The greatest generation gave everything, gave their all to build the greatest nation ever to exist in the history of the world. They were fighting against totalitarianism, fighting against a dictatorship. But 80 years later, if we are honest with ourselves, that very same totalitarianism is now here in this country. The very same dictatorship that our leaders were fighting, our greatest generation was fighting against, are now here in this country. We can call it the regime, the administrative state. You see, the media is very confused right now. The media is confused as to why the more Donald Trump faces in the legal realm, the more support that he gets. And that is the point, because the more you throw at him, the more we support him. What happened last Thursday, a week ago, exactly a week ago from today, is something that has never happened before in American history. Donald Trump and his campaign raised over $200 million post-conviction. With over 2 million individual donors. Who here gave money after the conviction, by the way? God bless all of you. Because we see it for exactly what it is. We've seen this play before, which is that in America, we will not tolerate, we will not allow elections to become who controls the courts and who controls the instruments of justice. This November, we send a message, a clear message to the rest of the world that we will not put up with indicting the leader of political opposition who is leading in the polls. Whether you support Trump or you say, oh, you know, Trump is not my favorite, the election is now bigger than Donald Trump. It is about a civilization. It is now a question of whether or not we will be a free society or whether we will enter a dark chapter as a totalitarian country. The 2024 election is bigger than just Trump v. Biden. This is a class struggle. It is a class struggle between the ruling class and you, between those people that have gotten fabulously wealthy under Joe Biden, those people that are running the oligarchy. By the way, every time you hear them say, our democracy, our democracy, our democracy, just replace that with our oligarchy, because it is the rule of the few, not the rule of the many. And in reality, the true threat to democracy is Joe Biden and his pack of thugs running the Department of Justice. The true threat to our elections is the fact that they believe that they can interfere with our choices, our selections. You see, there's a reason why they are doing it, though. Because you look around in this room and you look outside, they can't beat us at the ballot box, so they are trying to indict him and cheat their way to victory. But we are going to make November too big to rig, and we are going to overwhelm the ballot boxes this November. But it starts with every single one of you. Here in this state, State 48, there is no path to the White House without a victory in Arizona. And I am doing everything I possibly can. By the way, we just welcomed a baby boy to our family. We now have 2 under 2. That's the best news, isn't it? And I look at now my 2 kids, and I will not be able to live with myself if I do not give every ounce of energy, every ounce of passion to defeat Joe Biden and deliver the electoral votes of Arizona to Donald Trump. And every single one of us need to get to work. There are thousands, tens of thousands of people in this state that support President Trump, that support this movement, that are not registered to vote, that are not voting at all. Every single one of us can become a force multiplier. And it's not going to be just showing up to rallies, which is important, or watching on TV. It's going to be chasing the vote in your communities. It is going to be finding new voters and registering them. You see, it's very simple. Here's how it works. Step 1, buy a MAGA hat. We got a lot of people with MAGA hats here. Step 2, go to a grocery store or go to a public place and wear the MAGA hat. When someone comes up and they says, hey, I like Trump, I'm with him. You then ask the question, are you registered to vote? And if sometimes they'll say, I don't believe in voting. And you look at them in the eyes and you'll say, I'm not asking you to storm Normandy Beach. I'm asking you to fill out a voter registration form, fill out a piece of paper and put it in the mail. Be a patriot, stop complaining, and take ownership and win this election. This is what we are doing every single day at Turning Point Action and Turning Point PAC, is that we are finding the low propensity voters, and it is working, everybody. In 2020, there were 120,000 more registered Republicans than Democrats in the state of Arizona. That's good. That was 2020. As of this morning, we just pulled the latest numbers. You guys ready for this? According to the Arizona Secretary of State website, by the way, you don't like Adrian Fontes, right? We're not fans of it. No, it's no good. But he gave us the numbers. There are now 242,777 more registered Republicans than Democrats in the state of Arizona. We have increased the amount of registered Republicans by 120,000 registered voters, and it is growing. And it involves every single one of you. And so Brett and Lacey said it beautifully before. You take out your phone and you download the Turning Point Action app. And you no longer say, you know, I hope that things are going to go well in November. No, no, no. You are going to make things go well in November. You're going to use your agency given to you by God. You're going to knock on doors even when you don't feel like it. You're going to talk to your relative that's like, I don't feel like voting. You're going to say, you better never complain about high grocery prices again. You better not complain about the crime happening in Scottsdale. You better not complain about how I can't buy a home. You better not complain about how everything's getting more expensive. And it's very important you connect the dots. Because what Joe Biden is doing is not an accident. What the Democrats are doing is a deliberate plan of destruction against the United States of America. This is not that Joe Biden does not, well, he doesn't really know where he is, but that's a separate issue. His team knows what they're doing. They hate the country. They have bitterness for this republic. And they are making intentional steps to ruin it. In the 1970s, there were two Marxist communist political philosophers, Cloward Piven, who wrote a document saying that we are going to turn America into a communist country by doing three things. We will destroy the US dollar by printing trillions of dollars we do not have. We will build a deep state of government agents that will go after everyday citizens and that will absorb the private sector. And we will open up the southern border of the United States to allow tens of millions of third worlders to come into the country. This is called the Cloward-Piven strategy. Trillions of dollars we do not have. A deep state administrative state that is destroying the country and is locking up our political dissidents and allowing the third world to come into America. It is not a mistake or an accident what Joe Biden is doing. It is intentional. And therefore, it is evil what he is doing. He is a traitor to the United States of America. They want you apathetic. They want you thinking that what you do does not matter. However, if Donald Trump and our movement was not a threat, why do they have to send Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon to federal prison? By the way, do we stand with Steve Bannon? He just got sentenced to 4 months in federal prison today. He got sentenced to, that is more direct election interference. If their victory was inevitable, their lawfare and propaganda would not be necessary. Everybody, this last election in 2020, with all of the problems, came down to 41,000 ballots. Came down to 41,000 ballots. 10,000 here in Arizona, 10,000 in Georgia, 21,000 in Wisconsin. That means if the combined 3,000 plus people that are here today, if every single one of us take ownership and say, I'm going to find 5 new voters, I'm going to go register 5 new voters, I'm going to go chase 5 new voters, we make this so big that even with all of their nonsense and all their shenanigans, they will not be able to rig this again. And I look back to 2022, and I see here somebody I want to shout out because it's very important. In 2022, there were hundreds of thousands of Trump-supporting MAGA patriots that decided not to vote. Hundreds of thousands. You know the significance of that? The significance of that is now these amazing Arizona patriots are being targeted by Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays for being alternate electors. Tyler Boyer, Anthony Kern, Jake Hoffman. We can boo all we want, but let's be honest, that's on us. She became Attorney General by 275 votes. We didn't work hard enough to chase enough ballots and get our base out. 275 votes, she became Attorney General. We will never allow that to happen again. We are going to out-register them. We are going to outwork them. If just Andy Biggs' district alone chased 20 to 25,000 ballots, Kari Lake would be governor and Abe Hamadeh would be attorney general in this state. Just in one congressional district alone. Some of you are saying, but Charlie, it seems as if the enemy is overwhelming and we can't defeat them. That is why I am so touched that we are doing this event at my great friends, the Barnetts here at Dream City Church. Because I worship a God that defeated death on the cross. I worship a God that defeats evil. And we worship a God that wins in the end. Stop with the negativity. Our God wins. It is not all up to you, but it's up to you to do your part. We work as hard as we can, out of duty and obligation, and God will do the rest. We act out of obedience. I do not believe that God is done with the United States of America. I do not believe that Almighty God is done. But here's the thing, is that you don't get to sit on your couch and say, God rescue me, save the United States for me. Instead, it's that I am going to run through that finish line. I'm going to work harder than I ever possibly can. I'm going to support the fighters, support the good guys. I'm going to show up to our ballot chase events. I'm going to become a ballot chaser. By the way, we're hiring full-time ballot chasers out in the hall. You need a job because of the Biden economy? Go become a ballot chaser out in the hall. We'll happily hire you. I'm not kidding. Go out in the hall. We'll hire you. It is going to require that kind of hustle and that kind of effort. Now, you might say, Charlie, are you optimistic or pessimistic? Ultimately, I'm very optimistic. But it's wholly dependent on what we do. It all makes sense, doesn't it? Why they're doing this lawfare, to make you stop fighting. Why they raided James O'Keefe's home. Why they're going after Mark Meadows. Why they're going after Rudy Giuliani. Why they are continuing this blitzkrieg of lawfare. Because they're desperate. And they know that they have lost popular opinion with the American people. And let me just pause and reiterate something. I don't think we have seen an American leader with a spine, the resolve, the fortitude that would be willing to face 700 years in federal prison and keep on running like President Donald Trump. God bless this man for what he is doing. For his fight and his grit and his resolve. The media says all he cares about is himself. If he only cared about himself, he would just be golfing at Mar-a-Lago and not running for a second term. They raided his home as a warning shot. They raided his home, and that was the warning. If you run again, we will do stuff we've never done before. And President Trump basically said, I love America too much to throw in the towel. He is your fighter. He is our vessel. He brings you into the room. He challenges these stupid foreign wars. He asks the question why we have millions of people pouring across the southern border. He is not your typical Republican. He is an America First patriot that is willing to stand for this country. You see, they've never done this before because there's never been a leader like Donald J. Trump before. They've had to use this type of instrumentation and attacks because they know what he has done. You see, his crime is not that nonsense in New York. His crime is not documents. The crime that President Donald Trump committed is he gave you a voice. The crime that President Trump committed is that he did what he said he was going to do when he was president of the United States. The crime that President Trump committed is that he said the big truths repeatedly. He said that the media is fake news. He said that the virus came from China. He said that the American worker should be prioritized above the foreign government. He said that our military-industrial complex should stop with these foreign wars. You're not allowed to say those things. As a Republican, you're supposed to just wait in line and say what you're supposed to say. But this is why our movement is growing. This is why young men are the most conservative that they have been in the last 50 years. This is why Gen Z is increasingly more conservative. President Trump is expanding this movement, bringing in blacks and Hispanics, bringing in first-time voters. Anybody here who has never voted before? Has anyone here never voted before? I see a couple hands. That's amazing. Never voted before. Our movement is increasing, theirs is decreasing. And I will end with this, as we'll take a short pause before the president comes and takes your questions, which is, what are you going to do? Find your task and find your purpose. Here's my answer to that. Yesterday, we celebrated our 12th birthday of Turning Point USA. Praise God. 12th birthday. We have been so blessed by the Lord. For 12 years, we have seen this movement grow into the biggest in the country, with over 1,000 high school chapters and 800 college chapters and hundreds of thousands of members. Here's my promise to you. From now till counting day and now till voting month, I will work the hardest that I have worked these last 12 years. I will give everything I possibly can. Again, I am not asking you to do what those young men did on Normandy Beach 80 years ago to the day. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to download an app, to go talk to your neighbors, to go fill in a piece of paper, chase a couple ballots, and to own your neighborhood and save this country. God bless you guys. Thank you so much.
Jealousy and hate. Woman needs man, and man must have his mate, that no one can deny.
The great Charlie Kirk addressing the crowd there at that TPUSA Chase the Vote event in Phoenix, Arizona. Addressing the crowd and almost at one point having a bit of a church service. Obviously, that's at Dream City Church. There's one more speaker coming to the podium. We'll send it there live right now.
Open this town hall with prayer today. Our wonderful Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, we are so grateful to be in this place today to practice the freedoms that you so willingly have given to us. And Lord, in a month where people are celebrating many different things in the name of pride, in the name of expressing themselves, and they're doing it so unashamedly and boldly. So I just want to testify today, boldly and unashamedly, of your goodness. You are a good God. You provided a good earth for us to live on. You made us in your image, in male and female. You created the institution of marriage. You provided the safest place for a baby to be formed in, the mother's womb. And you said through your Son, better than a millstone be tied around the neck of anyone that would harm one of these little ones. So we praise you and we honor you today for your goodness. You are a good God. But your word also says that righteousness exalts a nation, and sin brings reproach to any people. And Father, we've watched our nation go the wrong direction over the past 3.5 years. We've watched families be dismantled. We've watched confusion among the young people. And we've been going the wrong direction. So Father, you have also instructed us to pray for our leaders. So we do pray for our leaders. But Father, if our leaders will not turn to you, if they will not turn to your word, if they will not return to justice, we pray that you would bring those leaders down and replace them with people who will love you and honor you and serve you. And we thank you, Lord, today that just 4 years ago, many of the men of God across America and women of God were invited back to the White House with President Trump, who would frequently ask our opinion and even try to understand the issues from a biblical perspective. And I just thank God for those moments where there was a man in charge who truly was seeking the welfare of the people and the well-being of the people. So today, Lord, we pray you'd have your hand upon this town hall meeting, that the questions, Lord, that would be asked would be the right questions. And Father, we pray for Donald Trump, President Trump. We pray for his health. We pray, Lord, for his family. We pray for his protection. All those people, all those individuals who are conniving and they're trying to frame right now him and bring him down. We pray that all those lies will be exposed. And Lord, that it would just be exposed for what it really is. We thank you today for this great moment and this great opportunity. We love you, we honor you, and we say unashamedly today, during this month particularly, we are not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation. We love you, we thank you for your goodness in Jesus' name. And everybody said, amen.
Please welcome to the stage U.S. Congressman Representative Eli Crane.
All right, thank you guys for coming out. Amazing crowd. Thank you for supporting President Donald Trump. Would you guys please stand? We're going to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join us in welcoming to the stage singer Mary Milden for the singing of our national anthem.
Well, it's great to be in the state of Arizona. How are you, Arizona? Oh, I'm so glad to be here to support my dear friend, President Donald J. Trump. Yes. And First Lady Melania Trump. Let's hear for President Trump and our First Lady. I'm not normally in Arizona during the heat, so you know I love President Trump to come in this heat. But it is great to be here to celebrate God, to celebrate our great country, America, and to celebrate the next president, the 47th president of the United States, President Donald J. Trump. Well, let's start off by let's celebrating America. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?
some great moments there live in Phoenix, Arizona at the TPUSA event. That's the Chase the Vote event. Of course, you saw Charlie Kirk, and then Representative Eli Crane leading with the Pledge of Allegiance. Always good to see people that are just doing great things for this country. And as you saw their rendition of the national anthem and other songs there at the Dream City Church in Phoenix. Meantime, there is the wellness company that has this awesome emergency kit that is needed for anything you're dealing with when it comes to viruses and colds. You see that information right there on your screen. I mean, we've got their Z-Pack, ivermectin, a number of other great medicines to help when it comes to all sorts of viruses. Now, you can have one of these actually at your house, in your car. All you have to do is go to makecaregreatagain.com. You see that information on your screen. As instead of having more of like a healthcare system in this country, we have a sick care system. So it's good to not have to make, all these people are trying to make money off of the pharmaceutical companies and that kind of thing. They're always trying to keep you addicted to all this other stuff out there. Why not go to something that has the Patriot in mind and some great products? Now, you'll have to fill out a medical form and that kind of thing. You're not just going to get that sent to you without that. But that is the wellness company. You get that emergency kit, once again, for your car, for your house, if you're traveling. This is something that we're going to be ordering soon at our house to have at least 2 of those moving forward as we continue into the summer and then into the fall. Now, we are hearing that President Trump will have a Q&A session there in Phoenix with Charlie Kirk. This is after President Trump's speech, which is about an hour and a minute scheduled from now. Maybe he might speak early. We'll see. We'll bring you that live coverage as you take that live video right there with our camera crew in Phoenix, Arizona. That's a Dream City Church. This is a Chase the Vote event. And as you heard Charlie Kirk talking about a number of people, including Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon, these are people that simply love our country and are dealing with a whole lot right now. So we're standing with them, especially the fact that, the subpoena that was a congressional subpoena that was requested from Steve Bannon, this was from the Unselect Committee, as President Trump calls them. He didn't, he didn't hand over this, he didn't take the subpoena rules, so therefore he has been sentenced, Steve Bannon we're talking about here, 4 months in prison. He will report to that court and that prison system on July 1st. Of course, 10 days away from the lawfare situation with President Trump. Meantime, President Trump, he keeps going, right? He doesn't stop. He can still laugh, have a good time, do serious interviews, all while his family is being attacked, while he's being attacked. But we, the people, are the ones that hire, right? We hire the political leaders of this country. And there is a job opening, as you know, in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And we're looking for someone that will keep this country moving towards, or at least back to what it once was, right? Make America great again. So it's not just being a Donald Trump fan. I mean, he is the one that's spearheading the whole movement. We get that. But it is we, the people, or people that love their country, love God, love the Bible, love the Constitution. I mean, that is the candidate that is fighting for the American people. And we saw what we saw, if you saw at the beginning of the broadcast, 2016 to 2020, he did great things. And now we see the chaos through weakness, through Biden, instead of peace through strength through Donald Trump. The amount of left-wing media or politicians that want more wars overseas, or even involving our troops, our men and women in uniform, over what? Peace through strength. There was no new wars under President Trump. These are facts. This isn't just somebody that, I like President Trump because he's a cool guy. These are actual things that he did, right, for those 4 years. I know I'm preaching to the choir. So I just wanted to let you know as well that there's this RSBN countdown clock that I came up with. We have so many days until the election, so many days until the first debate with Joe Biden against President Trump. So I'm going to scroll to that. But before I get to that information, I want to tell you about the Tax Network USA. If you're dealing with any back taxes, I know we just had April 15th, and you're just kind of concerned about what's going on there. with any of the finances, with back taxes, all you have to do is call that number you see there on your screen. They're going to help you. They'll come alongside you. And I understand that it can be overwhelming if you have a certain amount of dollars that maybe you didn't file or you have to pay. Well, this is a group that will come alongside you and assist you during that process. That information is right there on the screen. Tax Network USA. Now, the RSBN countdown clock, it's an unofficial countdown clock, but the first Trump-Biden debate, June 27th. That's 21 days from today. The Trump lawfare sentencing, July 11th, 35 days. The RNC, July 15th, so the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, 39 days away. Early voting in each state begins at various times, so you can check that out at your local election office online or make a phone call. And then the election, November 5th, is 152 days away. Once again, that's 5 months and 30 days from now until we see what happens to the future of our country. In the meantime, as I mentioned earlier, True the Vote, PrecinctStrategy.com, CauseOfAmerica.org, and Trump Force 47, this new initiative that was recently launched by the campaign in order to help you get involved with elections, to do the best we can to have a free and fair election, which is what, can you believe that we have to so-called fight? And when I say fight, I don't mean physically, but just work hard to have something that we've been so used to for so long. Well, how long has it been free and fair, right? But you look at a country like Brazil, or you look at other nations out there that are dealing with all sorts of things. We know that President Jair Bolsonaro is a huge supporter of President Trump, but also of, let's be real, over the hierarching thing over President Trump and everything is having freedom. It's the free world taking on those that are anti-freedom, anti-God. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but that's exactly what's going on. The people in Brazil, they're always supporting Bolsonaro. They're always out there in the streets. They want a free and fair election. If our country does not have a free and fair election this November, our country, I believe, will turn into one step closer to Canada, one step closer towards Brazil, hopefully not one step closer to China, and hopefully not worse than any of that. That's literally what we're facing right now. So this is why President Trump is out there campaigning. This is why there are events across the country. This is why a number of you, I've been on phone calls and Zoom, different video calls with PrecinctStrategy.com, where Steve Bannon, Mike Lindell, Steve Stern, others will show up on there talking to committee men and committee women from around the entire country are represented on that phone call. And they're talking about election strategy and what to do to make sure that this is a free and fair election come November 5th, 2024. I saw a bumper sticker the other day that read, "Impeach the media." And I once worked in that media that bumper sticker was referring to. And isn't that the truth? Impeach the media. The media on the left, we know, spewing lies and garbage on a constant basis. I like how President Trump calls Jake Tapper fake Tapper. I think Anderson Cooper the other day was called Allison Cooper. That was actually on his Truth Social. President Trump actually posted and said Allison Cooper. But the point of all this is, he wouldn't be making up these names if it wasn't true, in the sense of the fake news and the propaganda and the lies that continue day in and day out to try and spin away from the truth. As you know, maybe some of you don't know, I thought about this the other day. Interesting that Fauci and Hunter Biden's court dates and trials, and Fauci, when I mean that, is the congressional hearing that he was at the other day, which MTG and others did a great job holding his feet to the fire. But the point is, isn't it interesting? It happened on the heels of President Trump's so-called conviction. On the heels of President Trump's so-called hush money trial. What is that, right? Then you have Fauci and Hunter Biden. What they're doing is, it's all about the public opinion. They're trying to control the narrative right now. They're trying to sway the public opinion. They're like, hey, see, we're getting Trump because he's such a bad guy. We're getting Fauci and Hunter, who literally are bad guys, who literally have done crimes. And they're trying to pair Trump in with these people. Well, as you know, President Donald Trump is not the same, and they can't paint him the same. They're trying to, but we see through the left-wing media. Speaking of indoctrination and propaganda, let's take a look at this next product that I want to tell you about. That book is a true book, right? That's not the book that is sharing propaganda. That's the book that's trying to set the record straight, because you'll see some context there about President Trump. At freetrumpbook.com, you see Mike Huckabee's face on that, great patriot down there in Hendersonville, Tennessee, just north of Nashville, has a great show there, and also has this book, freetrumpbook.com. So go ahead and get this for your kids, for your family, or even just to have it as a collector's item, because this information in there is true about what President Trump did between 2016 and 2020 for this country. A lot of people act like, President Trump is supposed to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. So I don't understand these people in the left-wing media and these politicians trying to name call all the time when they're the ones that are projecting, doing the things that are wrong. He's the one that's just like, hey, listen, I'm he's a millionaire, billionaire guy that is a great mogul, real estate mogul, right? Did great things in New York, built Trump Tower. There's Trump golf courses all around the world, one even out in LA and California. I saw the Trump winery recently in Charlottesville, Virginia. So he's building, right? Does great in television. And then outside of that, he runs for president, an outsider. That's why these people are gathering right there as you take a live look in Phoenix, Arizona right now for this Chase the Vote event where President Trump will speak in about 52 minutes as scheduled, right? But we'll see if he's before or after that time. The thing that's really cool about this event is, I always love this, I think you do too, the question and answer sessions that happen with President Trump, the leader of the free world. He'll be up there with Charlie Kirk, taking questions, fielding questions from the audience. They're at the Dream City Church in Phoenix, and that will be after the speech. So stay tuned to Right Side Broadcasting Network. I want to thank you so much for tuning in here, whether you're watching on Rumble or YouTube or on the app or the website. You can get this newsletter. We've got to remind you about that. RSBN has a newsletter, rsbnetwork.com/newsletter. You can get a lot of great information into your email inbox pretty much weekly, where there's inside information, special information, good stories. I can think of, from Summer Lane on throughout the whole staff at Right Side, where these articles are based on what the truth is of the situation. And that's what we need to be reading, not these left-wing websites. Actually, go ahead and read the left-wing websites. Whatever. You got to figure out what you believe is to be true. But if you resonate with the Constitution, if you resonate with the Bible, if you resonate with what it felt like to be under a Trump administration for 4 years in 2016 through 2020, if you see what it's like right now with the gas prices, with Biden inflation, Bidenomics, the border, both south and north border, the trying to take away our freedom, let's be real, right? The First Amendment, the Second Amendment, they are obviously anti our country. So we need to get someone in there that's going to turn things around. Hence, what we're seeing today, a 3-state tour for President Trump. Now, this is the West Coast tour, a campaign stop in Arizona tonight, actually during the day here at 4:10 Eastern time right now. He'll be speaking at 5:10 on the East Coast. And then out there would be 2 o'clock on the West Coast. And then he'll have the Q&A. He will then travel and do a couple small stops in California. And then he wraps up, unless I'm missing any dates, I will double check that here in a second. And I'm sure our producers will let me know if there's any other dates that he's doing on the West Coast. But what I've seen is Arizona to California to Nevada on June 9th, where Vanessa Broussard and Paul Ingrasio will be live for that rally. How awesome is that going to be? In Las Vegas, it's going to be pretty cool to see that. Speaking of Las Vegas, let's talk about some gold real quick, because Birch Gold Group is helping you with backing up your situation when it comes to the cash situation, right? We have the BRICS nations that are coming against the dollar, trying to devalue the dollar on a constant basis. The Fed is possibly rising interest rates, and inflation is, or cutting interest rates, and the inflation is also very sky high at this point. There's a lot of turbulent times right now, as you know, in the economy and with the United States dollar. So text Trump to 9888, that's Birch Gold Group. This isn't only gold, you're talking silver and precious metals. Things, if you have the extra few bucks to have as a backup plan, why don't you turn that into gold? You keep that in a safe area, and you'll have that peace of mind going into this next. And, you know, the roof or the ceiling hasn't caved in yet. We hope it won't. We hope that the country will be restored. But this is one way to help bring some peace of mind. So text Trump to 9888. So once again, we were talking about the polls earlier. We see that their poll numbers right now across the board are in favor of Donald Trump. This is something that we see when we're at all the rallies. I've talked to a lot of you out there, whether it's in New Hampshire or recently in the Bronx or in Reno, Nevada, or out there in Arizona. Our camera crews have been all across this country, all the way up to Alaska. I mean, Right Side has been there every step of the way, and that's what we appreciate from you, the viewer. Honestly, guys, you are the ones that are providing the way for us to continue to do this work. The sponsors help, yes, definitely, but the donations right there, as you see, rsbnetwork.com/donate. It's viewer supported, right? We're not bought and paid for by some woke corporation that you think a woke corporation would allow me or someone else on this network to say the things that we have said if you've been watching for the past hour or so? Definitely not. But this network is all about freedom of speech. And this network is all about God, the Bible, the Constitution, and a conservative candidate that will hopefully restore freedom. He will, obviously, if he's in office, and make America great again. So rsbnetwork.com/donate. A number of you in the Bronx, what a great trip that was up there, and seeing people from all walks of life that were supporting President Trump wearing MAGA hats. If you want to take a look at some of those photos, I'm sure you can go, of course, on RSBN's network, RSBN's Truth Social account. Also, if you'd like, you can go to mine. It's at Matthew Alvarez. Vanessa Broussard as well is on there. Others on this network. So the people that RSBN is following, most of the staff is on there. You can follow them as well. But Truth Social is a great way when times are, you know, say it's a Tuesday night and not much is going on, we'll get on Truth Social. Be encouraged by other patriots, other believers, other people that are, you know, in the same boat, right? We are in the lead in the sense of freedom for the world. This country right here is in the lead. We are the beacon of hope and light and freedom. And so that's what we are believing for, praying for, working hard for to continue to happen here in the United States of America, to continue that. And so hopefully we can be covering very positive, good news from here, right? Wouldn't that be awesome? And that's one thing that's great about Right Side and conservative media is, you know, say Trump gets into office, which, you know, we believe and hope will happen, and are working hard for it to happen through a free and fair election. But just imagine that, right? All the good news stories that can be reported on with what's going on in the country. How about one good news story I can think of? Gas prices, right? Whew, man, they're high up there. And you remember, I've mentioned this before, but President Trump always talked during that 2020 campaign season. He was saying, if Biden gets into office, gas prices are going to be $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8 a gallon. At that point, they were anywhere from what, $1.95 in some areas up to $2.30, $2.40. And then it was true. Joe Biden, 81 million votes, my you know what, somehow gets into office. And then now look at it. We have the gas prices are terrible. That to me is, yeah, it hits the pocketbook hard, I get it. But to me, what the most important thing is, yes, we hear about the economy. Yes, we hear about the border. Yes, we hear about election security. I believe it's the Constitution of the United States. Not to be dramatic, it's just facts, right? It's the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. We just have to keep our freedoms. And that's what this is awesome. It's awesome to see this event going on here. This is Chase the Vote in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, if you're just joining us, you can watch this replay a bit later. Once President Trump is done speaking, there's going to be a Q&A session, which is going to be always great to see the back and forth, because it's like, you, the people, right? We, the people, being able to interact with someone that has already left a legacy already from 2016 to 2020, and hoping to create more of a great country between 24 and 28. So after that Q&A on Rumble or wherever you'd like to watch, I mean, Rumble is awesome, right? It's a conservative site and has great podcasts on there, and RSBN is obviously on there. So the RSBN channel, you can follow us. Go ahead and send this link to as many people as possible and let them know, hey, you know what? There's a network out there that is all about truth, all about this country, all about freedom. And the left-wing media, and including some cable news networks out there. I'm not going to get into naming any names. Why do that, right? I'm not doing that today. What I am doing is saying, hey, conservative media, we're all on the same team. We're all doing this together. The podcasters are doing this together. Those of you that write articles, we're doing this together. This is the real deal. This isn't some teleprompted script that some guy's saying or some lady's saying, hey, say this about President Trump and say this about Biden, and do propaganda that's happening left and right on the cable news networks. This place right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network only started because of you, as is the reason why we're here. Because you are the ones that tune in. You're the ones that want to see the full context of a speech. You're the ones that want to see fellow patriots or fellow just people. Like, we can call you patriots, we can call you whatever. You're just Americans that want our country to be saved, right? And that's what's awesome about RSBN. So doing those interviews out there is always fun. I can also tell you that we have the Tax Network USA back in the studio. If you just want to let you know that the IFB audio system has gotten a little bit fuzzy, so just let me know if that gets fixed there. I will say that Tax Network USA, you can see that number 800-357-1415. If you have any issues when it comes to your back taxes or anything that you have to file yet, or say you missed a few filings and you have a couple thousand to pay or 100 to pay, these guys right here, Tax Network USA, will be great to not only just call, but they will assist you with filing your taxes, but also will work on any of those back taxes. I mean, they've already helped out more than 1 billion Americans. Let me rewind that. $1 billion have been assisted with payback for Americans. No teleprompter, so rolling with it, right? So the Tax Network USA, right there's that number on your screen. So go ahead and reach out to them if you need any assistance when it comes to those back taxes. Now tonight, speaking of money, President Trump is going to be going to the Bay Area, San Francisco, for a fundraiser. It's a real smaller event, but boy is it, it's a high dollar event, which is great. He's going to be there tonight. So he'll be flying from Phoenix to San Francisco. Then he will go to a few other stops in California up until June 9th. That will be in Las Vegas, Nevada. So that will be a great trip there. Again, live right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Go ahead and follow Right Side if you'd like on Truth Social at RSBN, and also Matthew Alvarez. That's my name. If you'd like to follow at Matthew Alvarez. And go ahead and share some things in the comments with us. Talk about whatever you'd like and ask some questions, interact with us, because again, it's you guys that we are working alongside to hopefully see our nation go to a new level. I can also tell you, we were talking about the fundraiser, of course, tonight, the Trump speech, which is going to be at 5 o'clock. So we're looking at about 39 minutes there on the East Coast time, and then out on the West Coast, that's 1:21 right now. So we're looking at 2 o'clock for a start time there. And then President Trump will do some Q&As. One of the other things I want to talk about is the vice president situation. Who will President Trump pick for his VP running mate? We've been seeing some of the major networks do some interviews with some of the VP possibilities. There are some names that I've thought of that I won't share at this point, but that might be good as well. But we'll see what happens, right? It will be great to see someone that has President Trump's back, not like Mike Pence, but have President Trump's back come 2024, November 5th. As I mentioned earlier, will Joe Biden, I didn't mention this part, but Joe Biden, will he have a second term? In the sense of, will he even run for a second term? A lot of people are wondering, is he going to get replaced with another Democratic candidate? That was in the 24/7 news cycle for some time. And then, of course, that kind of went away after Michelle Obama and then Gavin Newsom, or Newscomb, as President Trump calls him, said that they weren't going to be running. But what really is going to happen? You know, we still have 5 months and 30 days until the election. Will Biden face off with Trump on June 27th for the debate? Will Biden be at the DNC? I believe it's in Chicago this year. Will he really be running? We'll see. Obviously, we can see that there's some issues going on there with the so-called leader of the free world. But we do know that it's time for us to take a quick break. We're live here in Alabama. I'm Matthew Alvarez. We want to thank you so much for tuning in. After the break, we're getting closer to President Trump, live from Phoenix. We'll be right back.
Parents and grandparents, the 2024 Kids Guide to President Trump is here, and it's free. As a bonus, your child gets a free issue of Everbright Kids Magazine and Activity Book, and a free video lesson. Order now at freetrumpbook.com. That's freetrumpbook.com.
What's up, guys? My name is Jaden Hurd, and I'm the host of the Let It Be Heard show here on RSBN channel. I would love for you guys to check me out. I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Rumble, YouTube. We release episodes every single week regarding culture, Bible, social issues, politics, current events, anything. So if you're into any of that stuff, I highly recommend you check me out. God bless you guys, and stay safe out there.
I'm excited to announce we're having a huge MyPillow spring sale, and here's a few examples. Buy one of our MyPillow 2.0s, you get another MyPillow 2.0 absolutely free. Made with cooling technology, the best pillow ever just got even better. And this just in, 9 brand new colors and styles of our Percale bed sheets. They're made with the finest long staple cotton, and now you can save 50% or more. That's as low as $24.98. And for the first time this year, I'm bringing you our My Slippers and Sandals for as low as $25 a pair. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your MyPillow 2.0s. Buy one, get one free. Percale sheets as low as $24.98. My Slippers and Sandals as low as $25 a pair. And for a limited time, when you order $75 or more, your entire order ships absolutely free.
Welcome to the Right Side Broadcasting Network. We're not like the other media outlets out there that cut and edit what other people say. In 2015, we were created by our founder, Joe Seals, to cover President Donald J. Trump's speeches and rallies, to which we continue to do to this day. We've also covered important conservative events like CPAC, TPUSA, March for Life, and many other important events and hearings around the country. We were made for people like you, everyday Americans who are tired of the mainstream media, who are tired of being lied to, manipulated, and fed an agenda. Our goal here at Right Side Broadcasting is to allow you to see the truth, giving our correspondents and commentators a wide latitude to speak their minds. You won't find anything like this in the mainstream media. Your support through your donations, locals, and supporting our advertisers allows us to continue to cover important events around the country each and every day. So, from us here at Right Side Broadcasting, thank you for supporting us and the right side of history.
Welcome back. I'm Matthew Alvarez here at the RSBN Studio A studios in Alabama. You're looking at a live photo there, or video from Phoenix, Arizona. President Trump, as you see there, will speak at 5 o'clock Eastern. That's 2 o'clock on the West Coast. And Phoenix is 3 hours behind us with the daylight saving time there. So we will be looking forward to that speech. And also the Q&A is happening right after his speech. So that's going to be awesome. So it's really good to hear where President Trump is coming from on a more kind of casual basis with the people. You know, you watch some of these other cable networks that do interview President Trump. That's good because, you know, he has an opportunity to share to an audience. But a lot of it is still edited. You know, the president might have 4 other things to say, but it gets cut down due to time and that kind of thing. Well, that's not what you're going to get here. You're going to get a full, wide-ranging interview at the end of it in the sense of the Q&A, and then before that is the speech. I thought about the left wing's greatest fear the other day. What is their greatest fear? And I think the greatest fear is for them to lose power. They want to dominate. They want to have the control of the masses. They want you to keep paying them the dollars. They want to control the people. They don't want you to have freedom. I think that is their greatest fear. I mean, this is their religion, right? The left-wing media and the left-wing politicians and also rhinos, right? They just really want that power, which comes with what? Fame and money and all that. Well, you can have fame and money, but you don't have to be a power-hungry individual doing terrible things, right? So their greatest fear is to lose their power. That's their religion. That's what they live for. If they were living for God, if they were living for the Bible, if they were living for Judeo-Christian principles, if they were living for the Constitution, they would not be doing that. But instead, that's exactly what they're doing. They're anti all of those things. So that's what I was talking about earlier with that job position. You know, you look on Indeed, or you look at Glassdoor, or you look at, let's shout out to Red Balloon, a conservative job application site. It would be posted, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, leader of the free world, someone that's going to restore the Constitution. That's not going to be someone named Joe Biden or Gavin Newsom or Michelle Obama. That's going to be President Donald Trump. And then in the future, somebody else that's America first. And that, I'm sure, is what a number of you that are watching believe is to happen for 24, 28, and onwards. Let's take a quick break and talk about the Free Trump book real quick. As you saw earlier, we were talking about indoctrination and all that. Well, that's what a lot of the education system is trying to do, is indoctrinate the youth about President Trump, about the Constitution, about all these items out there. Well, why not get them this book to kind of correct, reshift the thinking towards truth and what is right? And that is right there. freetrumpbook.com is from Mike Huckabee. You go to freetrumpbook.com, get that for any birthdays coming up, any kind of holidays. It would be great to have that in your, I was going to say stocking stuffer, but boy, are we months away from December. But still a great gift for anybody that is a supporter of President Trump, but also a supporter of truth and the conservative movement. Now, the connection with the audience, the authentic connection that you see right there with the people and with all of us when we're out there with you guys. Like, I get that I'm in a suit here and all that, but I like wearing a baseball hat, t-shirt, jeans, boots. I'd like to get a pickup truck someday. I don't have one yet, but I drive a Ford, for those of you that are Ford fans out there. But my point is, we're all on the same team. Just because I'm in a suit, just because, Vanessa's out there and others on the network, we look sharp or whatever, we don't, that's part of the business, right? But at the end of the day, we're real just like you are. We want to connect with you. We want to have authentic connection. And that's what I genuinely like about Donald Trump. He does that. I mean, he's this billionaire, was the president between 2016 and 2020, did great. He's the most famous guy on earth, and he still can kick it with anybody. He doesn't need to prove himself. I see that with Mike Lindell as well. Mike Lindell worked with him a little bit, and in Phoenix actually at an AMP Fest in 2022. Same kind of guy. And then I saw him in Texas. He was, and I posted this on Truth Social, he goes around shaking people's hands, just being with everybody. People that have to prove themselves, I think they're trying too hard. Let's be real. You don't have to really prove yourself, and I'm not going to get into a whole speech here on that. I mean, we all have things to work on, right? But I just like that people like Mike Lindell and President Trump are able to connect authentically with people. That is awesome. And that's why people love them so much. I mean, Charlie Kirk did an awesome job there speaking at TPUSA, that event there at Chase the Vote in Phoenix. He's going to be doing a Q&A with President Trump after this. These are all people that, yes, are in the limelight, as you say, or the spotlight. But regardless of being in a spotlight or whatever, we all have a part to play. We all can put a Trump sign on our yards. We all can smile at our neighbor, be kind, but not to mistake kindness for weakness. We know peace through strength is the way to go. We can work with True the Vote, with precinctstrategy.com, causeofamerica.org. You can get Christina Bob's book as well, Stealing Your Vote. Learn about this situation. Let's see what we can get done for the good for this November election. You can also get that hat. Text HAT to 88022. Text HAT to 88022. That is a limited offer. What's great about the hat is the content. Make America great again. But yes, it is a dark day in America. Figuratively speaking, I mean, it's every day seems like it's pretty dark out there, right? And that's what's anchoring our hope. What's anchoring our soul in this situation? What's anchoring our minds? Well, as you know, synagogue, Judeo-Christian principles, the Bible, President Donald Trump is encouraging people. Mike Lindell, Representative Eli Crane there in Arizona, Kerry Lake there in Arizona, MTG in DC, Matt Gaetz in Florida, Byron Donalds, Right Side Broadcasting Network, other conservative media outlets. We're all working to go towards the same direction, to save this country, to have that dream again where it's not going to be worrying about, is there going to be a third world war starting? Is there going to be a thing where our freedoms are actually taken in full? Are they really going to try and come against the Second Amendment and take the guns from the American people? We, the people, are, as I mentioned earlier, are the boss of this nation. That experiment, that great experiment for this great land, 1776, the real deal, it happened. And here we are, 2024. Facing something we've never faced before. It's never been this way. And we are seeing historic things happen a lot. Those of you that believe in the Bible, you know, there's there's truth all in the Bible. The Bible is truth. And so we're going to see, you know, we understand the times we live in right now, but we also have an ability to pray as hard as we can and to work as hard as we can as well. And so that's what you see someone like President Trump doing. That's what you see the campaign doing. That's what you see Right Side Broadcasting Network doing. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again out there live in the field. Vanessa's going to be out there on June 9th in Vegas with Paul and Gracia. Go ahead and follow both of them on Truth Social. Let's show, if you want to, I don't even know if we need to waste our time doing this, but let's show the left-wing media what's up. Let's show them, hey, guess what? You all had your nice, you know, suits and studios for so long, lying to the American people for decades and decades, filled with false narratives, filled with trying to sway public opinion and getting all the messaging right that was going to be anti the Bible, anti the Constitution, anti Donald Trump. Well, let's show them what's up. And how do you show them what's up? Turn off most of the cable news there. If not, well, just turn off the cable news and tune into conservative media, because it's time to rock and roll for God, for this country, and hopefully a great win. Boy, what would that be like if we really can win this thing, man, in November and get this country back? It would be quite awesome. We're with you every step of the way here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. We're going to be live throughout this election cycle. We're going to be live at the RNC in Milwaukee in July, and any other events that happen. We'll be there every step of the way with you, the American people. Once again, thank you so much for those of you that comment section and Rumble, or if you're on YouTube right now, and just say where you're watching from, or say what you like about the network. Say what you don't like about the network. Go ahead. It's a free world, right? It's a free country. Hopefully, will be continue to be a free country. But let's take that live look there. You can see someone holding up the Never Surrender sign and the Joe Biden You're Fired sign. I remember at some of the events, I saw a Too Big to Rig sign. And I also saw New York is Trump country, which was pretty cool to see up in the Bronx just a couple weeks ago. A great trip there. You know, AOC and the left, they couldn't deal with that. They just couldn't deal with it. They couldn't believe that Donald Trump would drop by in the South Bronx, a very blue area, a blue city. But here's the thing. The blue cities, I believe, as you guys have seen on social media and on some networks and our network as well, of course, with all the live footage we do, there are people from all walks of life that are supporting President Trump. Everything that he did in New York City, that's not fake news. If you see President Trump or someone that is a supporter, say it's Matt Gaetz or somebody, right? And people supporting them, that's not fake news. You're seeing live coverage of it happening. People are waving, people are showing the signs and holding the signs up, right? That's the real deal. That's really what's going on. And that's what we saw in the Bronx. If you'd like, on my Truth Social at Matthew Alvarez, you can look. There's a photo. It was actually a wider shot at first of a number of people that were there, right? The Hispanic population in the Bronx is 55 to 60%. And there were 3 people of Hispanic origin. I'm actually Hispanic, believe it or not. I mean, hey, my dad, my grandpa was from Cuba. My mom's side's from Italy, so Cuban and Italian. That's why I got the Alvarez last name. But the point is, people wearing MAGA hats. It doesn't matter where you're from or all that stuff. This is what's happening. And so the point to all this is the cities are turning, some of them, parts of them, are turning red. New York City, there are people that were there that are from the Bronx that were wearing MAGA hats. The brainwashing that has gone on in that city alone has been unbelievable. As I mentioned, it is the fake news capital of the world, New York City. You better believe I'm glad I'm not in New York. I don't want to be in New York. I don't want to be there. That city right now is terrible, but it can turn around if we get some more law and order. The Wellness Company, if you've been joining us, if you joined us since the top of the broadcast, you've seen this, ivermectin, Z-Pak, and more. MakeCareGreatAgain.com. This is what you need, simple as that. Z-Pak, ivermectin, and a number of other prescriptions that some of the doctors don't even want to prescribe to you. That's what it shows, that either they're kind of a left-wing type doctor or they are all about the pharmaceutical companies making their money and everybody's getting kickbacks. Not with these guys. MakeCareGreatAgain.com. You see that information on your screen. This is an emergency kit that you can have in your car if you're on a trip, or even if you're just having it to go back and forth to work, or if you're picking up your kids at the school or at your house. You know, just have this with you. Again, I mentioned earlier, we're going to get a couple of those. I'm actually going to write it down right here live. I'm going to get this as well. MakeCareGreatAgain.com. And we're going to buy 2 of those because I'll be honest, my wife and I had COVID. I think it was 2021 or 20, no, it was 22. Anyway, so we had COVID over Christmas. It was terrible. It was pretty crappy, right? I mean, obviously it's a lot of that's away now. We're not really dealing. MakeCareGreatAgain.com. One side note, I was at the hospital the other day. My sister just had a baby girl about 2 weeks ago, and my wife and I were going there to visit, and we were outside the elevator, and there was a male nurse standing there, or a doctor, and I asked him, I said, you know, are there any COVID restrictions or anything like that anymore, wearing masks? He's like, no, they're not worried about that now. And you know what he said? He goes, they're worried about bird flu come this fall. I'm like, well, okay, well, all right. Well, we just hope that this whole thing doesn't get blown out of proportion and all that. But we'll leave that to the real doctors, right? Simone Gold, shout out to Dr. Simone Gold on Truth Social, Dr. Peter McCullough and others. The real doctors, right? MakeCareGreatAgain.com. So Phoenix, Arizona, you're looking live right now as we await President Trump. It's 4:41 on the East Coast. That's 1:41 on the West Coast. That is the time zone there in Phoenix right now with daylight saving time. So the president will be speaking within about 20 minutes. give or take. And then once again, that Q&A is going to be really awesome. It's going to be great, especially because it's at a church, right? It's at Dream City Church. So you'd expect some sort of faith kind of encouragement or question or prayer or maybe a song. You know, this is the time we live in, right? Back in the day, it was don't mix religion and politics. Well, now it's mix religion and politics, or don't talk about religion or politics. Well, let's be real. All of us are talking about politics, and a lot of us are talking about religion as well, because our country's being tested right now. We're in turbulent times, as you know. So that's what we're dealing with. So therefore, pray and draw near to God, because he'll draw near to you. And again, we're all in the same boat. Forgiven, saved by grace. But the point is, and if you're not, I hope you will be someday soon, or even right now. But the point is that continue to draw near to God. He is real, and he literally will draw near to you as well. So no matter what you're dealing with, just do that. Seek him like you never have sought him before. And also work hard out there in the world, right? So pray hard, work hard. Let's get the best outcomes we can. Let's get the best life on this side and have the best life in the afterlife with Jesus in heaven. So until we get there, we're here in Auburn, Alabama right now, and in Phoenix, Arizona. That's our camera crew right there. As you see, President Trump expected to speak at 5 o'clock Eastern time. What you're seeing right now with me, by the way, my name's Matthew Alvarez. I've worked in the left-wing mainstream media for years. I started in about 2001 in college, working at the TV network there, and then worked in places like Grand Junction, Colorado. I've been in Ohio, Tennessee, New York, and Pennsylvania. I'm glad I don't work in the left-wing media anymore, but I was never able to do something like this. I was never able to talk what I believed in, sincerely believed in. So it's going to be a great ride here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Also, because this year, this election cycle is what a time to be reporting on what's going on in this country and interviewing all of you. And that's what's awesome about this network. We get to show President Trump's full speeches. That's what you tune in for. That's what we're going to give you. We also get to talk to you out there in the field. We get to hear exactly what you're feeling and thinking. And that is what better way to provide freedom of speech, to have a network that is able to broadcast this not only in this country, but literally around the world. There have been people that I've seen from Australia, England. I think it was Costa Rica the other day. I mean, there's people that watch, right? Because they're looking at this country. They're saying, what's going to happen to this nation? What's going to happen to freedom? You know, you've got Brazil rooting for us. Hungary is rooting for us. And I believe there are countries, I believe Iran is rooting for us. Now, let me explain what I mean. There are people in Iran that love freedom. You know, there are people in Japan that love freedom. The people that are on the free side want America to win, want America to have freedom as well. I believe that wholeheartedly. I've traveled the world. I've been on mission trips. I've been to Chad, Africa, right next to Sudan back in college. Took a college trip with a Christian group. And there, it was the same way. No matter what, it was about freedom and about faith, right? So people around the world are rooting for this nation. I believe they really are, and praying for this country to have freedom continue to be what this country was not only founded on, but continue through the rest of existence. As we are facing so many trying times, so many turbulent times, as you know. So I want to bring you up to speed. If you're just joining us right now, I'm Matthew Alvarez. We are live here in Alabama. This is Studio A at Right Side Broadcasting Network. Thank you so much for joining us. That is Phoenix, Arizona, as you take a live look at the screen there as we're panning the crowd, as we always do and always will. And then President Trump scheduled to speak within the next 15 minutes. Haven't heard yet if Trump Force One is on the ground there. I assume it is at this point. And we will bring you this live coverage wall to wall, his entire speech, and then again, that Q&A. He doesn't always get an opportunity or has time or he's able to do stuff like that. But today, he will. And then after he's done there, he's going to fly from Phoenix up to SFO, or at least the area up there in San Francisco, for a smaller fundraiser, but high dollar fundraiser, which is great for the campaign and great for what's going on. So that'll be tonight. He'll make a couple more stops in California, quick ones, and then he will go to Nevada in the Silver State there. A shout out to you guys in the Silver State in Las Vegas. Trump International, the hotel there, great site there. Kash Patel, send some photos or post photos on Truth Social there of Trump Tower or of Trump International Hotel in Vegas. So it's going to be great to see the president there. And people in Nevada are excited about President Trump. They are excited about him. I was live in Reno, packed house. We know that the people in a lot of the area there, from Carson City, Lake Tahoe area, there's some liberals, we get it, but there are a lot of passionate people there to see our country move forward in the right direction. So that will be on June 9th, and that will be, again, with Vanessa Broussard and Paul Ingracia, if you'd like to follow them on Truth Social. If you'd like to follow me, it's at Matthew Alvarez. You can also follow Right Side Broadcasting Network at RSBN. We have, I think, around 670,000 followers. Let's get to that million mark. Let's get to it in the next 3 months. Let's try it, right? That's a lot. That's a huge amount of growth. But why not? Let's give it a shot. So share RSBN with your friends and family. Send the actual, like maybe some posts from RSBN. Send them the links to your friends and family. We are dedicated to this country. We are dedicated to you, the American people, as we see that live shot right there. And we are dedicated to sharing the truth. And that is exactly what leads me to my next point when it comes to Truth Social and Right Side Broadcasting Network. There's something in the headline. You know how it shows a photo, profile photo, the red check mark on Truth Social, and then there's a headline. And the headline that I really like, that I've read one time before on air from Right Side Broadcasting Network, reads as follows, as soon as I get to it here at 3:49 Central Time here in Alabama. It says, Right Side Broadcasting Network is a pro-free speech network dedicated to bringing the truth to the American people and the world. That's exactly what RSBN is about, and that's what we'll continue to do. So if you'd like to put some comments in the Rumble chat right now as well, and also on YouTube, and if you're watching on the app, RSBN app, or watching on the website, thank you so much for tuning in. Whether you're watching on your Droid or your iPhone or an iPad or your Surface or your television screen, wherever you're watching, thanks for streaming our live footage. We're going to be going to Phoenix as soon as President Trump takes the stage there, and you'll be hearing, of course, the Lee Greenwood song, hopefully at any moment, but we will bring you that live. Let's shift to the Birch Gold Group. I spoke with Philip Patrick with the Birch Gold Group earlier today. That will be an interview that will air on Right Side Broadcasting Network in the future. But text Trump to 9898. Think about it. These BRICS nations, they continue to try and devalue the dollar. Brazil, and we're talking the leadership, right? Not the people of Brazil, right? But it's Brazil and Russia and India, China, South Africa, and other nations are working together to try and devalue the dollar as much as possible. So why not take some of that extra cash if you have any? If you don't have any, I hear you. We're all, works in progress. We're all working to save more money. I get it with the situation right now. And when I say I get it, I mean I get it. Okay, so I understand. We're on the same team. We're all working hard and got to put food on the table and all that. But my point is, if you do have that extra little bit of money, or a lot of money, go ahead and text these guys. I mean, text Trump to 9898 because Birch Gold Group will give you a free info kit. Also, gold, silver, and precious metals. Definitely good to have that as a backup plan, especially in case the dollar continues to go down. It's always good to have this backup plan. So a lot of peace of mind with Birch Gold Group. Once again, text Trump to 9998. It is about 10 minutes, actually under 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes until the top of the hour, 5 o'clock on the East Coast. And It will be 2 o'clock on the West Coast as we await President Trump there. You see the people waiting as well. And it's going to be exciting on Sunday, June 9th. The Las Vegas rally, I believe, is going to be quite rowdy in a good way, right? Rowdy, I simply mean you go to a football game and the crowd cheers. That's rowdy, right? Well, it's going to be just like that, I believe, here in Phoenix, but also in Las Vegas, as once again, President Trump is on a 3-day or a 3-state West Coast campaign tour right now. This is day 1 in Arizona. He goes to San Francisco for a fundraiser tonight. Then he'll head to a few stops in California once again, and then to Nevada on June 9th. So make sure to tune in on June 9th, especially because it's a rally day. It's on the weekend. It's a Sunday. We're going into summer. Let's see what it's like out there in the Silver State. Obviously getting very hot out there in Nevada right now. We were talking about the RSBN newsletter earlier. Also RSBN, you can donate to RSBN as well. All you do is go to rsbnetwork.com/donate. If you'd like to give a few bucks, if you can, to Right Side Broadcasting Network, it helps pay all the bills for us to travel and for us to show you all of the content. This, again, is about covering what's happening across the country. That is the main priority of this network. It's covering the truth and uncovering anything that can be done. Maybe there will be an investigative unit someday. My point is, we're all about bringing you live coverage, showing you the crowd right there as you see, and also the full President Trump speech. Now, you heard before it said there are facts over feelings, right? Well, I believe it's also true that we can have faith over feelings. I mean, we're dealing with a lot of turbulent times, as I mentioned earlier, and so having faith and those facts over those feelings would help through any process. There are other ways to work on how you feel, right? But to try and remember that though we're going through a very difficult time in this country, whether you're dealing with it individually or corporately or our country as a whole, we can have faith that something will come together, that all things will work together for the good to those that love God and are called according to his purposes, according to Romans 8:28. You know, I mean, whatever to encourage yourself, right? I do it. I put it in my notes on my phone to encourage myself, whatever you're dealing with in life, or you gotta just keep on keeping on, right? So we're going to continue to believe, continue to work hard for this country to be turned around. As I mentioned earlier, Right Side Broadcasting Network, the grassroots aspect of this network is pretty awesome. The fact that it started once again in 2015, as you know, all the way now until 2024, where we're covering all these events, but also, if you look at all of those polls, as I mentioned earlier, the battleground states, the swing states, all in favor of President Trump. A real clear politics poll, an average poll actually. It takes all these polls and it averages it up. President Trump, if you look at it on realclearpolitics.com, you'll see all Trump, 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 all the way up and down. That's what's happening, right? It's because we see what's happening in this country. So we have people that are supporting the president, and also with all the situations that we're dealing with, we're looking for the next level of this nation and to hopefully make America great again. Now, not only is there support for this freedom movement coast to coast, right? We know there's people right there in Arizona. We know people in the Bronx, New York. I was just there, right? We see that people, no matter where they're from, what they look like, it doesn't matter, because we're all God's people, right? God created the people, here we are. Well, a lot of them are supporting President Trump, from the Bronx to Arizona. Let's go across the pond to London, England. The other day, Tommy Robinson, he is a guy that's all about freedom. I watched this on Rebel News. If you don't know Rebel News, they're a good outfit. They're out of Canada. But the point is, they're patriots. And what they did there was they showed Tommy Robinson at an event right near Big Ben. And there were hundreds, if not thousands, of people waving the UK's flag out there, and also put a banner up in front on the stage. And it was all about supporting President Trump. I saw this on the Citizen Free Press on Truth Social, a video of Tommy Robinson out there, and all of the people, England's finest, right? The people there in England, they were chanting Trump, Trump, Trump in England, right? I mean, think about some of the videos we've seen as well all around the world when President Trump was in office, shaking hands of all these world leaders and people celebrating his arrival and that kind of thing. I mean, he went across the DMZ into North Korea. What? That's what I think Americans are seeing right now. People are probably scratching their head. How in the world are we even dealing with this situation? It's the few leaders in some of these cities that are really trying to give it to the American people. I saw a meme the other day as well, and I agreed with this meme. It's on my Truth Social at Matthew Alvarez, and it said that it showed a map of the United States, and it's mostly red, and it shows the few blue spots in the cities. And it said at the top, there are no blue states. There's only about 15 to 20 blue cities. They're trying to tell the rest of us how to live. Isn't that the truth? I never thought of it that way. They're really technically, okay, there's a blue state, I get it, but really though, the truth of the matter, New York State, right? Massachusetts, Illinois. Yeah, I get there's Democrats in these cities, I get that. But the point is that it's in the major cities, but even some of the cities are turning red. Look at what's happening in Chicago. The people there, they don't want migrants taking away all of their stuff. Look at New York. Look at Denver, right? So we're seeing this all over the country. So these 15 to 20 blue cities are starting to get a little bit of red going on. Hence, the Bronx. There are no blue states. I don't believe there's no blue states. These are just a few cities trying to do this. So we know that the leadership in these cities that are pushing woke policies, happy about the country going down, if it actually goes all the way down, right? Happy about the immigration situation. They might come out and say they're not, but they're happy. They're happy, or they would do something about it. President Biden, I can't believe I even just said those two words together. Biden, acts like he's going to try and do something with the border. Well, that's not really happening. That's just a bunch of lip service. He's just like in the Bible. It says, your lips are honoring me, but your heart is far from me. Depart from me, I never knew you. How many times are we speaking, but the heart is not lining up? Listen, I'm not here to preach or anything like that, but I am here as saved by grace, just like you, if you're a believer in Jesus. Somebody that just really loves the country. I obviously love working in media. This is what I've done since 2001. But it's been a long time coming where I'm able to actually share truth and not have to work at a place like CNN. Who in the world would want to work at that place? Or MSNBC. These guys are always talking about conservative media. They're always slamming all these people on the right. Well, Morning Joe. Oh, wow. Real winner there. Real winner. Anyway, we're looking for our country to be restored. And hopefully Joe Scarborough one day will get his life turned around. And vote for the right things. And how awesome would that be? I mean, Paul in the Bible, right? He wasn't a Christian at first. He was a persecutor of the Christians, and then he got his life turned around by God. Anything's possible. All right, anyway, let me back it up here, and let's look at these signs here. I mean, as you can see, there's Brick's suit right there live on your screen, and somebody there holding up a never surrender sign. People are getting eager for President Trump, as we are now 5:01 Eastern time. So we're at the top of the hour on the East Coast, 3 hours behind over there in Phoenix, so 2 o'clock on the West Coast. This is Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Matthew Alvarez. If you'd like to follow us on Truth Social at RSBN, or if you'd like to follow myself, it's at Matthew Alvarez. And also, there's a number of other ways to watch. You can watch on the RSBN app. You can watch on Rumble, on YouTube, and on the website. And now's a great time to go ahead and send this link to as many people as you'd like as we await the 45th president. And we know what happened in 2020, so we're looking forward to labeling the guy you're about to hear from the 47th president of the United States in an effort to restore this country and to get back to business, right? Back to just loving God, loving our families, loving our work, or at least getting to work that you love. Ownership. I ran into an owner. I'm not going to get into too many details. I'm not sure how much he'd want me to share, but I ran into a business owner here in Alabama just this morning, actually. And he, I was going to get into more details, but I'm not trying to do that. Basically, he is a supporter of President Trump, and he wants to see his business grow and flourish. And who doesn't want that, right? The left wing doesn't want that. We hope that they'll transition and start getting back to the middle at least, right? It's gotten so extreme, as you know, with all the woke policies and all of the left-wing shenanigans, as you call them, are happening. I mean, they're trying to shut down InfoWars. Really? No, that's freedom of speech, you know? So there's a lot going on. We see what's happening, but that right there is what it's about. It's about we the people. And those people there in Arizona and Phoenix right now are looking forward to seeing the president speak. And then also Charlie Kirk will take the stage with him. There will be a question and answer session, which, as you know, Charlie Kirk's so famous for that too, when he posts things all over the place, whether you're watching shorts on YouTube, or you're watching on Rumble, or on any of the sites out there. When some liberal at a college tries to take on Charlie Kirk, good luck. Yeah, good luck with that. There's no content for their arguments. It makes me think of Candace Owens as well. Go ahead, try and take on Candace Owens. It's not going to work. Try and take on Carrie Lake. Not going to happen. MTG, not going to happen. Matt Gaetz, nope. Byron Donalds, not going to happen. You try and take on Donald Trump, it's just not going to happen. You're getting something that isn't what it. See, everybody played patty cake for so long in the media with the politicians. I had to do it too. I worked in Ohio. I interviewed. Are you ready for this? I interviewed Barack Obama when he was running for president. I only had there was like 5 reporters in a row, right? And so he came out, how's everybody doing? Shaking everybody's hand and do a couple handshakes and whatever. I asked him some question about offshore drilling. You want to know why I asked him a question about offshore drilling? It's because my stinking news director, I'm not going to name names, he's somewhere else now, he might be turned around, whatever, and I'm not going to try to get myself into whatever. The point is, they want me to say, they want me to ask these certain questions. They don't want truth. They want to just keep propping up these kind of people. So we're hearing something going on right now. Let's go to Phoenix, Arizona.
Sweet dreams.
All right, who's ready to hear from President Donald Trump? This is the president's first visit to State 48 in nearly 18 months. And I can't wait for him to receive your energy and a warm welcome here at our Chase the Vote Town Hall, where we're going to chase every single vote. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a video to intro the 45th and hopefully the 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Trump has left the building.
We can now project the winner of the presidential race. Donald Trump wins the presidency. What started off as unlikely, impossible, is now reality.
I will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down.
We have a president who actually fulfilled the promises he made during the campaign, securing the border to foreign policy.
He now has a record as president that's pretty damn impressive.
Breaking news out of Palm Beach,
The FBI
Florida.
has executed an unprecedented search warrant at President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. The former president has both sides of the political aisle up
This is
in
a
arms.
dangerous and unstable moment in American history.
The Justice Department has just indicted former President Donald Trump.
For 7 years, they hated him, they targeted him, they hunted him.
This is the epitome of the abuse of the prosecutorial power to preempt political decisions.
I never thought anything like this could happen in America. The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving. On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country, and we will make America great again. America will always rise to every challenge and overcome every danger.
Donald Trump seems to always get stronger when challenged. These types of things, I think, give him strength.
When I'm reelected, I will totally obliterate the deep state. As long as we have pride in our beliefs, courage in our convictions, and faith in our God, then we will not fail.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Touching down in 3,
please welcome
2,
the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump! And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA. Well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. What a group. What a group. Thank you. Thank you very much. Wow. Hello, Phoenix. Hello, Phoenix. We love Phoenix. We've done well in Phoenix. I love this place. I even wore a special tie.
because it represents the sun. It's nice and sunny. And you got thousands of people outside that didn't get in, so I don't know if they're going to be so thrilled. But I'm thrilled to be back in beautiful Arizona with thousands and thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots, which is what you are. And I want to thank a special person, Charlie Kirk, for his tremendous leadership, as well as everyone at Turning Point Action for making this event possible. They're really helping with the election. They're doing a phenomenal job. Also, we have a lot of real warriors here tonight. Thanks to certain members of Congress with us. Eli Crane. Where's Eli? Where's Eli? What happened to Eli? Just saw him back there. There he is. Eli's doing a great job. A very non-controversial man. And he loves your state and he loves our country. Andy Biggs. Andy. Thank you, Andy. Great guy. A woman, I can't believe she's leaving Congress. She would have won by about 99%. But she's doing something very important. She's going to Maricopa County Board of Supervisors. And she has my complete and total endorsement. One of the greatest people. She was just a warrior with impeachment hoax #1, impeachment hoax #2, all hoaxes. Everything's a hoax. These people are sick. But I just want to introduce a special woman, Debbie Lesko. Debbie. There you are. Thank you, Debbie. Great job. That's an important job. We got to get them on our side, Debbie. You know, they're Republicans, but they act like Democrats. We got to get them on our side. Another friend of mine, somebody that's incredible. He's tough, he's strong. He loves you, and he likes me a lot because he's always fighting for me. Paul Gosar. Paul, thank you. You got a good location. Good. Thank you, Paul. Great guy. Great, wonderful patriot. All of them are warriors, and sometimes it's not easy, I'll tell you, but they are really something very special. A congressional candidate who's doing a really terrific job. His election was rigged the last time. I will tell you that. You know, they say, oh, please don't say that. These elections, let me tell you, if we could have honest elections in this country, I would have stopped campaigning 2 weeks ago. We would have had it made. But we don't have that, so we're watching it very carefully, and I'm working my ass off to make sure we get too big to rig. Too big. We want to be too big to rig. You know, there gets to be a point where they can't rig it, so we have an expression. Charlie and I were just talking. It's called too big to rig. Congressional candidate Abe Hamadeh. Abe, thank you very much. And a friend of mine and a really incredible woman who's worked very hard, and she had another one of those elections. The machines just happened to be broken. Only the Republican machines, however. That was a strange situation. She had lines going back 2 miles, and I'm sorry, sir, you'll have to come back about 12 o'clock in the evening. The machines happened to be broken, but she's out there, and she's a warrior, I'll tell you, and she's a very fine person and a she's a great family person and a great person who loves our country. You're going to be your next senator. She's got to be your next senator because she's running against somebody. She's running against somebody who's for open borders. Do you like open borders? I don't think so. You got to elect Carrie Lake. She's going to be fantastic. Carrie Lake. Carrie. Thank you, Carrie. She's incredible. She's going to do a good job. The campaign is just beginning. And on this day, we remember and thank the immortal heroes of D-Day who landed at Normandy 80 years ago. 80 years. I spoke to some of them today, actually. They're the hearts, and they're in our hearts of this country. They really are. They're the heart of the country. These are great people. Greatest generation. Thank you very much. That's true. And it's really tremendous. We talk about great people. These are great people right before me, and I appreciate you being here, especially in these numbers, these throngs. but we have a job to do. We have to make America great again. We're going to do it. We're going to do it better than ever. We are going to do it better than ever before. We had the best economy. We had the best border. We had the best of everything. And now we got to do it all over again. We're going to do it even better. I just went through a rigged trial in New York with a highly conflicted, and I mean highly conflicted, judge, where there was no crime. It was made up, fabricated stuff. They didn't want to bring the case. They could have brought the case 7 years ago. It's only when you run for office they bring cases. But they would have done that 7 years ago, not in the middle of my presidential campaign, where we're beating Biden, by the way, by a lot. Did you see? And by the way, right after the announcement of this, more campaign funds were given to this campaign than any campaign they think in history. Almost $400 million. 400! No, it's never been, nobody's ever seen, because they know it was rigged. They know it's a corrupt system. They know all about it. But with your help, less than 5 months from now, and we're going, and I'll tell you what, we have to change the system. We have to straighten out what's going on in these courts. We got a rigged deal going, this whole country, and we've got to do it. And those appellate courts have to step up and straighten things out, or we're not going to have a country any longer. But we're going to win the great state of Arizona, and we're going to tell crooked Joe Biden, you're fired. You're doing a lousy job, the worst job, the worst president in history. Joe, you're fired. How did he do today? Does anybody have a report? Oh, gee. In a few moments, I will be taking questions. You know, I'm going to be taking questions. So I don't know. I'm not like Joe. Tell me who's going to. You ever see that? He's got a press conference that lasts for about 2 minutes. And he goes like this. He's reading a card. NBC. Jim. And then they ask him a question, and he picks up the same paper and he reads the answer. They never did that with me. No, we're going to have people asking questions. Whatever they ask is okay. Is anybody going to be watching the debate with this character? You know, they offered me this debate, and they thought I wouldn't take it because it's on CNN. It's Fake Tapper. Does anyone know him? Fake Tapper. They wanted it to be sitting down, seated, and zero audience. And they wanted it to be short, also very short. And I said, I'll take it. Because you know what? They thought I wouldn't take it. Being on CNN, and Dana Bash is very tough to Trump. Dana Bash, another beauty. So I have Dana Bash and Fake Tapper. And they thought, here's what we'll do. We'll offer him the worst thing that could be offered. These two anchors, Dana Bash, Fake Tapper, CNN, no audience, nobody. Your children, your wife, nobody can be there. Oh, that's going to be interesting for him, though, isn't it? Nobody can be there. And they want you sitting down. So I said, I'll take it. They thought what was going to happen is that I'd say, I won't do it, and then they'll say, Trump doesn't want to debate. I want to debate. We should have many debates, frankly. We really should. Because we have to find out why they like open borders, where people pour in from, right, Paul? Why do they, who could like an open border? You know, more importantly, why do they want, we're the party of common sense. As an example, it's big stuff. It's bigger than people think. Why would anybody want to have men playing in women's sports? Why? Do you see the records that are being set in weightlifting? These are records that are not going to be beaten anytime soon, maybe in 1,000 years from now. But they're being, and swimming and running, and it's so unfair. And it's so horrible, really so demeaning to women. Who would want this? I mean, who would want it? We are the party, and we're conservative, all that stuff. But you know what? More importantly, We're the party of common sense. We want strong borders. We want a powerful military. We don't want wars. We want to have great education for our children. We want to have low interest rates. And we were energy independent just 3.5 years ago. And today we're saying to Venezuela, we need your energy. Please help us. It's so sad. It's so pathetic. We're going to lower your energy costs by 50% within 1 year. We're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to get those prices way down. But first, I want to talk to you about Crooked Joe's heinous and criminal obliteration of our southern border. You people know better than just about anybody about the southern border because they are pouring through your state at levels nobody's ever seen before. 2 days ago, Joe Biden signed an executive order to officially declare his formal approval and support for the largest border invasion in the history of the world. So this has been the largest invasion in history. We are being invaded. This is not people coming in. These are people coming in totally unchecked, unvetted. They're pouring into our country. Far from closing the border, Joe Biden's order. This is his new order. So he's getting killed in the polls. People say that, look, this is really bad what's happening on the border. So they come up with something that's fake, just like everything else they do. It's all fake. The impeachments are fake. The court cases are a disgrace to our country. Everything is fake. So they come up with this order. I won't say it because I don't like using the word bullshit in front of these beautiful children. So I won't say it. I will not say it. But this thing allows millions of people. This allows millions of people into our country. Joe Biden's order is pro-invasion, pro-child trafficking, pro-women trafficking, pro-human trafficking, pro-drug dealers. And in all, it's really, they bring death and they bring destruction into our country. It's really pro-illegal immigration. It's great for illegal immigration. It doesn't do anything. It makes it worse than what you have right now. By the way, if he wanted to close the border, I didn't have to go to Congress. I had the best border we've ever had. I had the most secure border we've ever had. You know, when I ran in 2016, I ran largely on the border. Border was really bad. I fixed it. And when I ran in 2020, I said, I want to talk about the border. And all of my geniuses said, nobody wants to hear it, sir. Nobody wants to hear about the border. I said, well, let's talk about it. Nobody did it because I fixed it. It was so good we couldn't talk about it. It's pretty bad when you do such a good job that you can't talk about it. But they said, don't talk about it. They were right. Nobody cared about it because I fixed it. The problem is this border is, I'd say, 100 times worse than it was in 2016. 2016 was beautiful by comparison. But we'll fix it again and we'll make it right because we're not going to have a country. You know, without borders, you don't have a country. Biden's action this week establishes an annual minimum of approximately 2 million illegal alien border crossers. In other words, he thinks he's getting tough. He's only going to allow 2 to 3 million people into our country. Where do they come from? Not including the millions that will continue to pour through as gotaways. You know what got away? Those are unreported people. They got away. It's called They Got Away. It's a good name. They walk into our country. Nobody knows they're here. That's not even including that. Joe Biden is the worst president in the history of the United States by far. The worst. The worst. He is destroying our country. The only good thing, Jimmy Carter's a nice man. Do we agree? Jimmy Carter is a brilliant president. Jimmy Carter is a brilliant president by comparison. His administration, by comparison, is brilliant. So as an older man, not feeling great. And he's a nice person. I know him a little bit. Nice person. But Jimmy Carter's happy now because he says that his administration is brilliant compared to Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the worst president in history. We have to win on November 5th, which will be the most important day in the history of our country. I'm telling you, it will be. I used to say in 2016, I'd say that, not with the same conviction, but I felt in 2016 and 2020, I didn't have to say we had a country that was just amazing. We had the greatest economy in history during that short period of time. We had the greatest in history, the greatest jobs, greatest tax cuts, gave you the biggest tax cuts in history, biggest regulation cuts. Everything was good. But I'm telling you that this election coming up on November 5th, 2024, is going to go down as the most important day, because if we don't win, it's all of us, it's millions of people. If we don't win, this country is finished. I really believe that. I think it's finished. In addition, Crooked Joe's action dramatically expands the Biden migrant smartphone app. Do you believe this? He's talking about a smartphone. He has no idea what a smartphone is. That allows illegal aliens to gain free entry to be released into the United States at the push of a button. Pretty hard. You go like this, ding, I'm here. Welcome to America. Biden's order is not a border security plan. It's a concession to the fact that he has lost control over our border. He's totally lost control over the border, and it's a really dangerous place. He is conceding death, and he's conceding defeat at the border. On day one of my administration, I will be rescinding Crooked Joe's outrageous executive order. And I will be slamming the door shut on the Biden migrant app, and I will terminate every single open borders policy of the Biden administration as soon as I take the oath of office. It will take place on the exact same day. I don't need to wait weeks. It's going to be done on the same day that we take together. We all take the oath of office, okay? The result of Biden's action this week will be more innocent Americans killed by illegal alien criminals, more children trafficked and sold into slavery, and millions more illegal aliens pouring into our country, and many will come through a very beautiful place known as Arizona, right? Arizona. I tell you, it's so sad to see what's happened here, right? So sad. You remember you had your Sheriff Joe? Huh? Where is he? Is he here? I used to love that guy. Where is Sheriff Joe? Hey, Joe, come up here. Come up here. Get up here, Joe. Sheriff Joe. No games. There were no games. There were no games being played with Sheriff Joe. I didn't know he was here. Come here, Joe. I don't kiss men, but I kissed him. We had a real border with this guy. People said he was too tough. Now they're saying, where is Sheriff Joe? You know, he's 170 years old, but we want him back. Joe, say something.
Hold on. I want to see your birth certificate. He doesn't believe my age. You think I'm 73?
I think you're
50. I love this guy. When NBC came up to me and said, John McCain, you're a hero. And I paused. Because 4 months before, I woke up and told my wife, and thank you, everything you've done for Ava. Never forget that. Never. So I said about McCain, I'm not going to badmouth him. You know, he still served our country. But when I woke up, I told my wife, I finally found the only hero I ever had in my life, and that's him. And I'm like the president. I'm not a typical politician. We talk too much sometimes. But you know what? You talk from the heart. Unfortunately, and you get in trouble for that. And what he did for my wife Ava. I will never forget it. Thank you. When my wife came down, my wife used to watch Fox, who I never watch anymore, except for your guy. And because she used to watch Donald Trump. And when I told Donald Trump about my wife, that she had cancer, he's called my wife not once, 7 times. You didn't have to do that. So all the media up there, you know, they badmouth me every day. I love the media that badmouths me because my polls keep going up. So keep badmouthing me. You're doing him a favor, too. Keep badmouthing him. So anyway, Mr. President, from the heart, and by the way, June 14, you and I, birthday, same day. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Grab that railing, Joe. You did perfect, but you don't want to pull a Biden. Thank you. This guy did some job on the border. You know, he wasn't appreciated, actually, and now he's appreciated because you understand what he did. He did an amazing job, and good man, great wife. He had a great wife, actually. And thank you very much. I didn't know you were here, Joe, actually, and I'm glad you were. If Joe Biden truly wanted to sign an executive order to stop the invasion, he only needs a single, think of it, a single sentence, and it would say, I hereby immediately reinstate every single border policy of a gentleman named Donald J. Trump, who was President of the United States. Less than 4 years ago, I handed Joe Biden the strongest, most secure border in U.S. history. We built 157 miles, and some people say 571 miles. We added 157. We're ready to get it up. It was going to go up to 200, and they didn't want to put it up. But we built 571 miles of wall. We were going to add over 200. They ended up selling. It was all made. All we had to do is flip it up. It was going to go up very quickly. Then we had a horrible thing happen during the election. You know better than us. And they ended up selling it for 5 cents on the dollar. Very expensive stuff. Just what the Border Patrol spec. They wanted steel. They wanted concrete. They wanted rebar. They wanted 7,000-pound concrete. They wanted hardened steel. It was very good stuff. And they wanted the panel on top. That was called an anti-climb panel. I never liked it visually, but I said, it does work. We checked it. The same guys, we hired mountain climbers, can you believe, from Mount Everest. That's pretty good. And they couldn't get up when you had the anti-climb panel. This is, give me these little trivia facts. The panel on top, I hated it because I said, it doesn't look good. But then when I found out they couldn't climb with the panel, without the panel, they had no problem. I said, let's put the panel in. It looks just fine. But we ended all of the catch and release. We shut down asylum fraud. We had remain in Mexico, safe third agreements and Title 42. And we brought illegal immigration to the lowest level on record under the Trump administration. If you crossed our border illegally, you got caught. We sent you back to the place from which you came. And, you know, they weren't allowed to do that with Obama and Biden. When I first came in, I said, you got to get them out. MS-13. We took out thousands of MS-13 criminals. We sent them back to their place. You had plenty of them here. We got them all out. But I was told, sir, you're not going to be able to do that. Why? Because Honduras and El Salvador, some of the other countries, they wouldn't take them back under any circumstances. They wouldn't take them back. I said, what do you mean? We put them in buses, they blocked the roads. We put them in planes, they put big planes on the runway so you couldn't land. They won't take them back. How long has that been going on for? 10 years, 12 years? It's been going on for a long time. I said, how much money do we pay those countries? Sir, we give them $750 million a year for economic development. Okay, you do. See, $750. Okay, as of effective immediately, inform them they're not getting the $750 million. That was in the evening. That was on a Thursday evening. On Friday morning, like early, 7:30 in the morning, I got almost simultaneously 3 calls, not coordinated, separate calls from the heads of the 3 countries. And I said, what's up? It's early in the morning. Sir, we understand that you're upset about something. Please, there must be a misunderstanding. I said, you won't take the criminals that you send over in caravans, and they have a lot to do with it. They put the people that they don't want in those caravans. You won't take those criminals back, and you're not getting any more money from the United States at all. Sir, there must be a misunderstanding. We would be honored to take back MS-13 criminals. It would be such... And we started sending them back by the thousands, But when crooked Joe Biden got in, he took the most secure border in U.S. history and he quickly turned it into the worst border nightmare, I believe, in the history of the world. There's never been a border where they allow 18 million people in. I think that's the real number as of now, 18 million people. In April, border crossings were up 1,000% compared to the same month last year. 1,000% compared to last year. And by the way, last year, it was 1,000% compared to the year before. There's never been anything. A guy like Sheriff Joe must be going crazy when he hears this. If one person got in, he'd go wild. One person. How do you feel about tens of thousands? How do you feel about millions of people? Millions of people. In total, crooked Joe Biden has imported more illegal aliens than the populations of 40 out of our 50 states, and soon that's going to be a much higher number. It could even almost top. I think it's going to end up topping. I'll tell you what, if this guy got reelected, the country is finished, your border is finished, you won't have a country anymore. It'll be a disaster. Just on this one issue, and we're not talking about nuclear proliferation, we're not talking about all the other issues that he has no idea what the hell he's talking about. You know, if you think about it, Ukraine being attacked by Russia would have never happened. It would have never happened, just wouldn't have happened. For a lot of reasons, including the fact that energy was much cheaper, and Russia makes its money with energy, basically, but would have never happened. Putin would have never done it. Wouldn't have happened. And it never did. You know, people said, well, how does he know it wouldn't happen? Because for 4 years, it never did. And watch China and Taiwan. Watch what's going on with that. Another thing, Israel would have never been attacked, ever. Would have never been attacked. Iran was broke. Iran was broke. They didn't have money to give out to Hezbollah, to Hamas. Iran was broke. Israel would have never been attacked. And you know what else? Just to add, I could say 30 different things, but just to add one more, you wouldn't have had any inflation. We had no inflation. We were down at a number so perfect. And now you're suffering with numbers that nobody's ever seen before, and it's all unsustainable. But the Biden invasion is no accident. It's a deliberate demolition of our sovereignty and of our borders. Somehow, somebody's going to explain to us why they would want this to happen. I guess it's probably votes. They probably think these people are going to be voting. And interestingly, I don't know if you just came across the wires, I'm leading now with Hispanic voters. Isn't that good? So, I don't know. Maybe they're wasting their time. Upon taking office, Joe Biden stopped the completion of that wall. He instituted catch and release across the entire southern border, and he releases them in our country. I had catch and release, too. You know what my catch and release was? I released them in Mexico. How about the Remain in Mexico? I started something that we never had before, Remain in Mexico. And Remain in Mexico, you had to see Tijuana. It's probably the fastest growing city in the history of the world. They couldn't come into our country until we checked them out, and most of them didn't check out. He knowingly ripped up the Remain in Mexico policy, which was not easy to get. You know, when you go to Mexico, you say, listen, we want to have hundreds of thousands, even millions of people standing by the border on your side. They're not allowed. You think that was an easy thing to get? And I got it. And I got 28,000 soldiers free of charge from Mexico. And I said, if you're not going to give them to me, we're going to charge you a nice, big, beautiful, fat tariff of 25%, 50%. It'll go up to 100%. And they said, we would be delighted to give you 28,000 soldiers, sir. And now, last week I heard they want to charge the United States billions of dollars, billions, just for the privilege of sitting down with them and negotiating. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? They wouldn't be doing that with us. We willfully, think of it, he terminated my Safe Third agreements. A big deal. Safe Third is a big deal. He rescinded Title 42. People are allowed into our country that are very sick with disease that can be easily spread, and they're allowed into our country. It's a big problem, too. You see that. He threw open the gates to millions of fighting-aged males from all over the planet. You saw that. 29,000 people from China. Everyone looks like he's ready for the military. It's like, I said, are we crazy or what? What the hell are we doing to our country? This guy is so incompetent. He's so bad. And the only chance they have is all of this weaponization stuff. They're going after everybody. If they focus the same energy on making America great again, it'd be, I probably wouldn't have even run. I ran because I saw such stupidity. And I won because you all agreed with me. And the very first bill that Crooked Joe sent to Congress was a plan to give mass amnesty to millions and millions of illegal aliens, even if we don't know anything about them. And you know, they take care of them, but they don't take care of our vets. I had a 92% approval rating with our vets, the VA. Now it's, If Joe Biden wins this election, he wants to turn every single illegal alien that he let in across the borders into a voting citizen. I believe that's the only reason this is happening, because nobody could want, there's no other reason that this is a good thing. And for that, you know, it's interesting, they cheat so much, they don't really need that. That's the way I look at it. So I almost don't even think that's the reason, but it probably is. By contrast, I want to send Joe Biden's illegal aliens back home where they belong. They have to go back home. Because quite simply, Joe Biden wants an invasion. I want a deportation. I want a deportation. Gonna have to send him because it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Look, there's Mr. Wall right there. Stand up. Look at that suit. I love that suit. I love that suit. You look sharp. By day, he's a CPA who does very well. Look at him. He's the greatest. He's been to about 200 rallies, I think, right? Pretty close. That's great. That's cool. We built a lot of wall. On day one, I will seal the border, I will stop the invasion, and we will begin the largest domestic deportation operation in the history of our country. Have no choice. We have no choice. Biden has given us no choice. Under Crooked Joe Biden, the world is emptying out their prisons, insane asylums, and mental institutions. It's emptying out all of these places at levels that nobody's ever seen, and sending us the most vicious criminals, savage gang members, sadistic cartels are pouring into our countries, loaded up with horrible, horrible criminals, and they're pouring into our countries at levels never seen before. We've never seen anything like this before, and it's only going to get worse. You see what's going on in New York where they're fighting? They're having fistfights with policemen in the middle of the streets. Fistfights. I've seen people get shot. I've seen a lot, but fistfights, I mean, those are long-term, and it's horrible. Nobody's ever seen. And in their country, they'd be executed immediately if they did it. They know that. But it's taken them a little while to get acclimated. You're going to have migrant crime added to regular crime at levels that nobody has ever seen before anywhere in the world. That's what's happening. And I have to say, Arizona is being turned into a dumping ground for the dungeons of the third world. They are all coming in. In Venezuela, Crime. Think of this. Venezuela. Next time we'll meet in Venezuela, it'll be safer. In Venezuela, crime is down 72% because they've taken their criminals from Caracas and all of these different places and they've dumped them in the United States. They're emptying out the jails all over the country. All over our country, we're being affected and affected badly. And all over the world, if you look, the jail populations are at the lowest levels they've maybe ever been at. I mean, they're at levels that nobody's seen for 25, 30 years. And also mental institutions. They're taking people out, very, very sick people, and they're dumping them into the United States. Congratulations, by the way. They're dumping them into the United States of America. The mental institutions throughout the world, and I'm not talking about South America. I'm talking about in Africa, the Congo. They're letting their prisoners from the Congo, rough guys, come into the United States. Congratulations. They're letting people come in from Asia. They're letting people come in from all over the world. The Middle East, they're coming in from Yemen. They're coming in from all over. They're coming in by the millions, and they're coming in from the prisons and the mental institutions. And can you imagine the money they're saving? And can you imagine how much nicer it is? But Venezuela, the crime is down 72%. Because they don't have their criminals. They're taking their gang members in a rough fashion, and they're busing them into our country. And there may be, is there any criminal from Venezuela in the room? Please raise your hand. There probably is. We just don't know about it. No, but think how bad that is. And I do it. If I were the head of these countries, Honduras, El Salvador, I would do it in a heartbeat. Anybody. It's all over the world we're talking about. I have to say, I would be the first one that would have done it. And I wouldn't be having 50% jail populations. I'd be down to 0. They'd all be in the United States of America getting money for all of the different things that they get. They get cell phones. They get hospitalization. They get education. Even though they can't speak a word of English, they're taking the seats of people. And the instructors talking English, and they have somebody speaking, in some cases, languages that we'd never even heard of. You know, there are a lot of languages that we don't have here. We have nobody that even speaks these languages. And they're sitting down in a school, taking a student's place that might be a hardworking, good student, a citizen, the child of citizens, and they're taking their place. Our country is going to hell, and we're going to stop it. We're going to stop it on November 5th. Just this week, 2 brave officers of the New York Police Department, these are great people, by the way, the New York's finest, and they are fine people, they're great people, were shot in Queens, New York, by a Biden migrant who Crooked Joe released into our country. This monster infiltrated from Venezuela and was quickly given administrative amnesty by Joe Biden. He got amnesty, along with taxpayer-funded hotel room, which is a very nice room, by the way, very luxurious, while he engaged in multiple suspected robberies before shooting 2 of our finest people, 2 of New York's finest, as we call them. In Palm Beach County, Florida, last month, an illegal alien criminal who Joe Biden released into the United States was charged for kidnapping an 11-year-old girl from her front yard and sexually assaulting her in the back of a van. And, of course, there was this horrific case of Laken Riley, who's incredible. I met the parents, and may be here. The young nursing student, beautiful person, beautiful, top of her class, everything, from Georgia, who was savagely beaten and murdered by a bloodthirsty Biden migrant, allowed in through Biden after Crooked Joe set him loose into our country. They set him loose right into our country. Instead of apologizing to Laken Riley's family, Joe Biden apologized to her killer for calling him illegal. Do you remember that? Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry I called him illegal. He actually apologized. He went on. He apologized to this guy. And remember when Biden could not even pronounce Laken's name correctly in probably the worst State of the Union anyone's ever heard. Under the Trump administration, we will not be apologizing to illegal alien criminals. We will be putting them behind bars and throwing them out of our country rapidly. With his actions on the border, Joe Biden is the ringleader of one of the most vile criminal conspiracies of all time, aiding and abetting human traffickers, child smugglers, and terrorists. That's what he's doing. They have no fear. They know nobody's going after them. They can do whatever they want. And that goes with drugs. More drugs are coming into our country right now than at any time in our history, times 5 or times 6. We've never had massive amounts of drugs pouring into our country. We fought it like hell. We were fighting. And by the way, you'll never solve the problem without the death penalty. When I was in China, I was with President Xi, 1.4 billion people, strong guy, and we got along well until COVID. Then I said, the hell with it, man. It wasn't. What they unleashed on the world was incredible, but we got along well, and he was going to stop the fentanyl coming into the United States. But I said to him, do you have the first meeting, a little naive question, but it's all right, not so bad. Do you have a drug problem? No, I do not have a drug problem. Well, no, don't you have any? No, we have no drug problem. Why? Swift trial. I said, what is Swift trial? Swift trial. What Swift trial is, they catch the drug dealer, and they give him a swift trial, meaning a very fast trial. At the end of the trial, if he's guilty, they execute him. Every drug dealer in China said, let's get the hell out of here. Let's go to the United States, where you don't even get a slap on the wrist, right? And I don't know that our country is ready for it. And I'll be honest with you, if you really knew the stats, a drug dealer, on average, during that drug dealer's life, will kill approximately 500 people. Do you know that, Paul? 500 people will die. Families, family members, children, young children, girls, boys, parents sometimes too. 500 people on average. And when you hear that, it doesn't sound so severe. You know, we would set up blue ribbon committees at the White House. We'd get socialites from New York, even socialites from Arizona. They'd sit around the table, they'd talk about it for 5 minutes, and then they'd start talking about what restaurant they're going out to dinner. These people are really tough and they're smart. The cartel people, they run these things like the best corporations in the country. They say they run more efficiently, they know how to do it. They're horrible people. They're killing hundreds of thousands of Americans each year. And when I mentioned and I do it purposely, I mentioned the death penalty, and without it, you're never going to solve the problem. If you look at Singapore, if you look at the only countries essentially that don't have a problem are people with either really strong crime prevention or countries with the death penalty. And Singapore is another one. They don't even know what you're talking about when you say, do you have a drug problem? Do you have a drug problem? No, we don't have a drug problem. Why would we have a drug problem? We have an unbelievable drug problem. We lost last year, in my opinion, 300,000 people. That's bigger than a war. That's bigger than a war. And so many times they're young people. And so many times it was a mistake. They thought they were taking something else. If you take the head of a pin and put a little fentanyl on the head, if it's a little bit larger than the head of a pin, you're dead. You have no chance. And this is pouring in from China. And I had a deal with President Xi. He was going to give the death penalty to anybody manufacturing fentanyl in China and selling it to the United States. But then when the election was rigged and didn't turn out right, he didn't have to do anything. And this group definitely didn't want to pursue that. But we had a deal. They weren't going to be sending the fentanyl into us anymore. But we have to do something with Mexico. 300,000 people are dying a year. Those are the real numbers. They like to say 100. They like to say 90. It's been that number for a long time. It's 300,000 people, and it's probably more than that. And we're going to have to take very strong action because we can't let that happen. That's like being in a war. You take a look at the Civil War. You take a look at wars that we've had where the numbers are not so much more than that. Double for the Civil War. That was a war within our country, And you take a look at this. We cannot let this stand any longer. We cannot take it from China, from Mexico, from anywhere else. We have to clean out the problem. And the people that do it, the tougher they are, the less of a problem they have. It's actually a very simple solution. In addition to all of the Biden migrant crimes stealing innocent American lives, Crooked Joe is also responsible for more women and children being sold into slavery than anyone else in modern history, because we are so weak on the borders now. We were so strong. This guy goes to the beach all the time. You ever watch him in a bathing suit? Somebody told him he looks good. Oh, Joe, you look great in a bathing suit. You know, you're 82 years old. You look fantastic. He can't lift the chair. The chair weighs about 3 hours. You know those chairs, aluminum? Hollow aluminum. They weigh like, they're built for old people to lift and for children to lift. He can't lift. Well, today he couldn't get up, right? That was not good. What the hell happened to him today? It's always an adventure. He falls out of airplanes. He falls out of helicopters. What the hell is going on? But because of Biden's policies, millions and millions of children have been separated from their families and pushed into the hands of the coyotes and the cartels. And you know, 88,000, I don't know if you do, if it were me, it would be the biggest story. 88,000 children are missing. You know that, 88,000, think of that. 88,000 children are missing under this administration, and they have no idea. And unfortunately, many of those children are dead, just like many of the hostages held by Hamas are dead. When they can't make a deal, you know, when they can't make a deal, that's a big problem. And they're finding out that a lot of them are gone. A lot of these people are gone right now. But there's a thing, again, it never would have happened. October 7th, Israel, the attack on Israel, would have never, ever happened under the Trump administration. When I'm president, I will use Title 42 to end the trial, and we have to do this, to end the child trafficking crisis by returning all trafficked children to their families in their home countries, and we will do it immediately. Have to do it. We will save countless women and children from slavery and servitude. You know, when you talk about all of the people that are essentially kidnapped, it's another word for it, most of them are actually women. Most of them, they put them in trunks of cars. They have cells built in cars. They close, it's 100 degrees out, it's 115 degrees out. They put women in that to try and sneak them across the border. And they can do it very easily because the borders, we have an open border into our country. But most of those people are, just think of yourself, think of your family. Most of them are women. The Biden border invasion is also an all-out war on the working class minorities of our country, and it's a flat-out economic warfare on African-American and Hispanic-American families and workers. These people are taking the jobs of African Americans. They're taking the jobs of Hispanic Americans, and they're tremendously affected. And you know who else is affected? Is unions. Unions are being absolutely slaughtered because people are coming in and they're taking those union jobs, and I think you're going to see unions start to speak up pretty soon. The illegal immigration is hurting black and Hispanic families more than anyone else. In less than 4 years, Joe Biden has imported millions of low-wage migrants and given them welfare, free health care, and work permits to undercut American wages. People with jobs that have had it for a long time are being fired all over our country. Now, real income for African Americans is down more than 6% under Crooked Joe Biden. Think of it. So that's the African Americans are being, and it's one of the reasons, by the way, have you seen the polls? Okay? The polls for African Americans are loving Trump because they're seeing what's happening, and criminal justice reform. And I funded the colleges and black colleges and universities. Nobody else did that. Nobody else even thought of it. And what we're doing is we're getting tremendous numbers that I don't think anybody's seen before, of African Americans coming over to vote for us, and we need those votes because we have to turn this country around. Simultaneously, illegal immigration is causing rent and housing costs to skyrocket, absolutely skyrocket, because we have 15 million new migrants and we have no place to put them. We have no place to put them. And that number is building so fast. We have absolutely no place. In everything that he does, Joe Biden puts illegal aliens first. He puts the cartels first. He puts the open borders, these lunatics first. And he betrays the American citizens. He's betraying the American citizens. Again, I say it all the time. He's the single worst president in the history of our country. You know, until I got indicted. I got indicted 4 times. Can you believe it? I never spoke. You know, I spoke. I'm a politician, I guess. I can't stand the name, but I'm a politician, I guess. I ran. I won. The only thing I did wrong was I beat somebody that I wasn't supposed to beat. We won the election in 2016. And then in 2020, as we all know, I did much better than I did in 2016. We got millions of more votes, but a lot of bad things happened. You know, they used COVID to cheat, et cetera, et cetera. But we're not going to let that happen again. But as your president, I will put African Americans first, Hispanic Americans first, Asian Americans first, women first, men first, people with diplomas from the top schools first, people without a diploma, that we had them all. But basically, I'll put all Americans first. I'm going to put them first. Because my loyalty is to the American people, and starting on day one, I will shift massive portions of federal law enforcement to immigration enforcement, including parts of the DEA, ATF, FBI, and DHS, if you know what that all is. I will deploy the U.S. Navy to impose a full blockade like I had on the cartels, because when the land gets tough to get across, they swing it out with the boats, and we will stop that. We already did. And deny them access to the waterways of our region. We will put the cartels out of business, and I will make clear to every federal department and agency that we must use any and all resources to stop this invasion of our country, including moving thousands of troops, if necessarily, currently stationed overseas, to our own borders. We protect other countries, but we don't protect our own country. Before we defend the borders of foreign countries, we will secure the border of our country. I think that makes sense. But first, and most importantly, because without this, it's only going to go bad, we have to win this November. We have to win. And remember, it starts in mid-September. You know, it's early voting, mid-September. North Carolina goes early. Pennsylvania goes very early. September 22nd in Pennsylvania. So it's really long before the November 5th date. But we use the November 5th because that's the day that we will have a chance, like we did years ago. We turned our country around. We made America great again. In fact, I couldn't use that slogan. I wasn't going to use that slogan in 2020 because America became great again. We were respected all over the world. And now I can use that slogan because our country is we're a failed nation. We need a victory that's too big to rig. You know what that means? We need everybody to get out and vote. Thank you. And you know, it's interesting. We talk about Second Amendment. I'm the one, I just got recently the endorsement of the NRA, which I appreciate. Very strong. Very strong. But I was talking to them, and you know, gun owners, for whatever reason, don't vote. They really don't vote. Vote in very, very low numbers. The gun owners have to get. Also, evangelicals and Christians don't vote like they should. If they would vote, we couldn't lose. There's nobody that could beat us. So we have to get the evangelicals. We have to get the gun owners. We have to get these people to vote. And if they vote, nobody can beat us. And if they don't vote, they're going to take away your guns because the Second Amendment is totally under siege. They'll take away your guns. You're not going to have protection. And other reasons that you want guns. So the gun owners have to vote. The Christians, the evangelicals have to go out. They have to vote. So I'm asking everybody to go out and we have to swamp. You know the word swamp? I fired Comey. I fired a lot of people. I fired a lot of people. We were doing a job. But this is a different swamp. We have to go to swampthevoteusa.com. Swampthevoteusa.com. It's a different version of the word swamp. I never liked the word swamp. And then I said it one time at a big arena. The place went wild. I said, I sort of like it. I sort of like it. You know, Frank Sinatra told me he never liked singing My Way, except everybody liked it so much. And then all of a sudden he liked it the best. So we like the word swamp because it's meant so much. But we have to swampthevoteusa.com. That's where you go to get the information to request your ballot or pledge to vote early in person or even on election day. The main thing, you've got to vote. And you got to sort of watch your vote because these are crooked people. You got to watch your vote. Watch where it's going. And if you want to volunteer to help us turn out or target voters in your neighborhood, we have a lot of people that want to vote for us, but they don't vote. We got to get them to vote. We need TrumpForce47.com. TrumpForce47.com. And with your vote, we will end Joe Biden's border nightmare. We will fire his failed and weak, horrible, the worst ever administration. We will rescue the state of Arizona. We will make America great again. We will make it great again, greater than ever before. And now, we're going to do something a little different. You think Biden does this? If they ask him one question, he just leaves. They ask him one question. No, we're gonna take some questions. We don't do this often because it gets a little bit sloppy, I must say. But they look like nice people. But whatever question you'd like to ask, it can be a horrible, embarrassing, vicious question, or it could be quite nice. I don't care personally, because it's called We Answer You. You ask a question, we answer the question. Yes, darling, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, for taking the time to answer this question. I am a mother, a wife, and a woman, and I also foster and adopt kids. Growing up near the border, I've seen firsthand how an unsecure border has impacted my family and our community. I worry about the illegal drugs being brought into our community and what could happen to my children. What steps can be taken to reduce the drugs being brought into the country as well, and safety and well-being of families and the community?
Thank you, darling. Good. Very good question. It's a very basic question. It's a little bit what we've been talking about, but it's going to be at a level that we have never seen in this country. Even as good as I did, I created the safest border in history. We're going to make it so good. All Biden had to do is let the people stay there, keep the same policies. We wouldn't even be talking about this as an issue. And I think in a certain way, it's just one of the truly big issues. We're going to make our border very powerful, very strong. We're going to stop drugs from coming in. We're going to stop this whole thing with human trafficking, which is a big part of your question. And we're going to make your homeland safe for you to stay with your family, where thousands of people are pouring in and looking through your windows. And what they're doing here in Texas, and by the way, the governor of Texas has done a very good job of closing it up. But here they haven't done that. They haven't done that. And in California, they haven't. 82% of the people are coming in now through California, Arizona. So we're going to have to close it up. We're going to close it up. We're going to use federal powers to close it up. Thank you, darling, very much. Good question. Yes, sir. You're a good-looking guy. Look at that guy. Looks like a banker from Wall Street.
You can see I'm an old man, and I have grandchildren that I want to see taken care of.
Right.
And I love them, and I want them to know that they can have the same life that I have had.
Oh, it's very nice.
What are you going to do about that?
We're going to make sure that they have the same. You know, I mean, I could just see how incredible you are by the emotion of that and the way you asked the question. We're going to make sure they have the same life that you had or better. We're going to make it safe. We have to give authority back to law enforcement so they can properly protect people, because right now the law enforcement is just not allowed to do their job because crime is so bad. Crime is so bad in the cities, and one of the things I said is we're giving immunity. We're going to guarantee people. You know, they lose a law enforcement person. They go and stop people from robbing stores. You go to some of these department stores where 500 people walk into the stores. They walk out with air conditioning. They strip the whole store. The company goes out of business. The store is vacant for 25 years. The whole city becomes a slum. And if you do anything as a law enforcement person, they take away your house, they take away your family, they take away your pension. We're going to make it so that we're going to give them essentially immunity. We're going to make it that they are not going to be losing their pensions. They're going to be able to do their job. And we're going to get life back to where I know exactly the life that you're talking about. It was a life of common sense. It was a life where there was no crime. There was nobody getting bopped over the head when they weren't looking, getting pushed into a railroad train or a subway. It's just horrible what's taking place. It's horrible. It's evil. We're going to get it back to common sense. We're going to have law and order. Thank you. Great question. Thank you. Great question. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, President Trump, for
Thank
coming
you.
down. We really do appreciate
you. Thank you very much.
I'm in the unique position of having two children that are in their 30s and a set of girls in there that are teenagers. I know what I did have to do with the 30-year-olds. I know what I now have to do with the teenagers. I have trackers on those girls, and I've taught them evasive action when driving through our county because of the high-speed pursuits of the human trafficking.
Who would believe you have to even think about doing that, right?
Never with the original two.
Yeah, no, I know that.
How would you handle the criminal activity that is running rampant because of this open border, because all of this is from this open border?
Okay. Strength, and we're getting them back. We're bringing them back. In some cases, we'll keep them here. There's some real bad ones, but don't forget, when we keep them here, they cost us millions and millions of dollars per person. It's so crazy. We're getting them the hell out of our country, and we start with the criminals. And you know what? Our local police know who they are. They know their first name, their middle name, their last name. We have to give authority back to the local police, who are fantastic people. Okay? Thank you very much. We'll get that stopped, and soon. Yes, sir, please.
Trump, so great to have you here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
I'm a veteran Air Force individual.
Good.
But foremost, I am a father and a husband, and I find it frightening that we have illegals crossing our border from countries like China, the Middle East, and other dangerous countries. How will you prevent all this national disaster happening at our southern border?
So we can do things that nobody does with this. And we have tremendous economic power. And by the way, if we're not careful, we're not going to have that for long either. That's going to go down the tubes with everything else. But if China or some other country is behaving badly, we have things called tariffs that are so severe. Mexico, look at Mexico, what they're doing. I can solve that problem, I believe, in one day. You send people through, you allow people to come through your country with hundreds of miles they have to walk, hundreds through. By the way, those caravans, I thought I came up with the name, maybe somebody else did, but they're caravans of thousands of people. The young women in particular, but the young women in those caravans suffer so badly, and there's so much death. And this is all caused by Biden, where people think they're going to walk into the United States. It's just another form of death. We are going to be so tough, and if a country is not going to behave, we're going to tariff the hell out of that country, because one of the powers that we have, and if we have to, we'll do more than that, but I don't think you're going to need it. You know, I had a very good relationship with China. Yet I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. No president, we wouldn't have any steel factories, any steel mills in the United States if I didn't do what I did. I was taxing them at 25 and 50%, perhaps going up very substantially. But we wouldn't have industry, certain industry, they would have been gone. And it's not only China, it's other. Every country tries to take advantage of us. The European Union is brutal to us. They don't take our cars. They don't take our food products. They don't take anything. We have a tremendous deficit You know, the European Union sounds so nice. They're very tough. We have hundreds of billions of dollars of deficits. We had that really going great. Then COVID came in, and I had to take care of that, or we would have had a country that was 1929. If I didn't pour money at COVID, we would have had a country that was in 1929 depression. We handed over a stock market that was higher than just prior to it coming in. But we're going to be very tough on countries because, you know, you can stop it at the source. If you stop it at the source, it's much easier than really having battles at the border. And we'll stop it at the stores. And I'll go back to President Xi, and he'll honor it, I believe, death penalty for those people that send these horrible drugs into our country. And you'll see it stop very quickly. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, President Trump. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We love you in Navajo County, by the way.
Thank you.
So I'm a mom of 3, and when I go to the grocery store to fill up the fridge, costs are out of control. So what do you think we can do? We need to bring those costs
Got to
back
bring
down.
them down. We have the greatest inflation, in my opinion, in the history of our country. They say in 47 years, somebody else said 78 years. I say it's in the history. You look at the cost of food, and you look at the cost of energy, and you see where it is. And I think we're almost 50%. It's, you know, they like to say 24%, 28%. It's much higher. And they don't include a lot of the things that are really bad. I'll give you an example. Interest rates. So interest rates went from 2.5% with me up to close to 10%, and you can't get money anyway. But we have a very sick country. It started with energy. Now it's all over. And now energy isn't as bad as food. It's not as bad as rent. It's not as bad as a lot of things. But energy is going to bring it all down. If we cut your energy in half, you're going to see a difference, the likes of which you've never seen before. We're going to get rid of inflation, and we're going to bring that number down. Not just where you don't have inflation. We're going to bring those costs down. Because it's the biggest thing I hear is people going out to the grocery store. They make the same amount of money, but they can buy half of the product. They buy half. And it's the single, I'll tell you what, it's the single biggest. I even have that here. I have something here. Let me see. Because you asked this question, I think I'll show it. Should I show it? I don't know if you can see it. Look. Tic Tacs. Right? This is what inflation does. This is what inflation does. This is what inflation. Okay? Look. Not good, right? But I kid. But there really is no kidding. It's serious. People can't live. People that had a comfortable life under Trump, making the same kind of money. We had many more jobs, and they had all bounce-back jobs. They bounced back from COVID. They were going to come back. But people that made the same amount of money, they live half as well because costs are so high. Inflation is known as a country buster. It busts up countries. It busted up Germany years and years ago. Anytime you have inflation that's not checked, not controlled, it's a country buster, and it's going to bust up our country because we've never had inflation so bad. So we're going to get the energy down. We're going to get the food prices down. We're going to do a lot of cutting also, and we're going to make our country very livable. We had almost no inflation, and now we have record-setting inflation, and it's killing people. Thank you, darling, very much. Thank you. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President, for taking my question.
Thank you.
And you talking about energy is a perfect segue into my question. And here's my question, is this. I've watched gas prices under the Joe Biden administration just soar, and we're no longer energy dominant, as you mentioned.
Can you believe it, right? By the way, to interrupt, we have more, I call it liquid gold, under our feet than any other nation in the world. Saudi Arabia, Russia, but we don't use it. We don't use it. We don't use it because of these people that are absolutely, they're crazy. They're crazy. We don't use it. Drill, baby, drill. The man just said it. Drill, baby, drill. Go ahead.
And you know, exactly, Mr. President. I'm a pastor, and I'm watching the members of my church hurt over how much, just like what you're saying, the gas cost is just to get to work, go to school, and go to church. And Therefore, my question is this: what are you going to do to help the everyday American who could barely afford the price of gas? And before you answer that, Mr. President, I just want to say this, as a pastor. Scripture says, where sin abounds, grace abounds all the more. And we want to thank you for tapping into the greater grace that's going to eliminate and bring this country back into the greatness.
Thank you, Pastor. Very good. You can be my pastor any day. Thank you, Pastor. I appreciate it. We can get energy started. You know, you have places in this country that you're very high. Your energy is very high. But you have the New England states that are the highest in our country. It's crazy. And if they had a pipeline going from Pennsylvania through New York, but New York won't approve it, if they had a pipeline, they would cut their numbers down by 50%. I predict, and I will tell you, I'm going to get energy costs down to much less than 50% of what they are now all throughout our country. And that's going to have an unbelievable... And once that happens, interest rates are going to follow. Interest rates will naturally follow. It's not as complicated as people think, and I did it. We had no inflation. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country, and we'll do it again, but we'll do it even better. Thank you, Pastor. It's very nice. Appreciate it.
President Trump, it's an honor.
Thank you.
I enlisted in the Army Reserve because I love my country, like many of us do.
Right.
Under Biden, our national security is at risk with endless wars. What is your plan to bring us back to peace?
So, such a good question. So, you know, when I ran against Hillary Clinton, I don't use the word crooked anymore. I don't use the word anymore. I don't do it. Because I removed that word. I used it for Joe. I thought it was more accurate. Then I had Sleepy Joe, and I removed it into Crooked Joe. I thought it was slightly more accurate. But we had a situation going with all of these people, everything. They wanted to say that I was going to create World War III. Look at him, he's a radical, look at him. I was a radical for not having wars. And if you look at Viktor Orban from Hungary, strong country, strong man. He's a very powerful man, runs it strong. He didn't take illegal aliens. He didn't want them. He said, I want my people to be Hungarian. I don't want to have my shopping centers blown up, et cetera, et cetera. And they asked him a few weeks ago, they said, let me ask you, Mr. Prime Minister, what's going on with the world? The world is blowing up. You have Ukraine, Russia, you have Israel, you have all these places. They're in war with each other. What's going on? He said, there's one thing going on. He said, Donald Trump isn't president. If Trump is president, it's all going to end. They all respected Trump, and it's true. And it's true. So they said that, oh, look at, Hillary said this, look at Trump, just look at this guy. He's going to go to war. He's going to take us. No. Look at me. I'm the one that kept us out of war. For 78 years, it was 78 years until another president, look, that's a long time. I kept you out of wars. I totally defeated ISIS. I rebuilt our military, and countries respected us. I totally rebuilt our military, and I rebuilt our Veterans Administration. I took good care of our vets. 92% approval rate. So we are going to make sure there's no wars. We don't want to have wars. I call them endless wars. I call them wars where people don't even want us involved. Now, Ukraine's a very interesting case because we spend hundreds of billions of dollars. And Europe, you know, don't forget, we have a little thing called an ocean in between us. Europe should be paying much more. Nobody asks them to pay more. I asked them to pay more for NATO, and they paid a lot more. That's where they got all the money, because they were all mostly delinquent, other than 8 nations. But they would always say Trump is going to get us into war with his attitude. No, my attitude kept us out of war. We defeated ISIS, totally defeated ISIS. We got out of Syria. We got out of Iraq. I got out of these wars because I'm a big believer. I want to spend our money in our country, doing our country's great things. Our country, you drive down our roads, you drive down our highways, our country's falling to pieces, our infrastructure is falling. And then these guys, all they want to do is spend money on the Green New Scam. It's a Green New Scam.
I mean, the things they're spending money on, it's like throwing the money out the window. And we don't want to do that. We want to fix our roads and highways. We want to get rid of the electric mandate for the car. How about that? They have hundreds of thousands of cars right now. And by the way, I'm a big fan of electric cars. I'm a fan of Elon. I like Elon, but you know, I like him. And I think a lot of people are going to want to buy electric cars. But if you want to buy a different type of car, you have to have a choice. Some people need to go far. Some people don't want their car built in China. Some people, you know, there are advantages to other. And basically what people have to have a choice. And you know what? You have to have choice also in education. You're going to have choice in education, and you're going to have choice in what you buy. And that has to do with electric. The electric cars don't go far. And by the way, they're incredible. He does an incredible job with Tesla. And I tell him, I said, you know, and I think he agrees with me, frankly, but you can't. They don't go far. Same thing with the trucking industry. I met with the trucking industry the other night. They said they want us to switch to electric trucks. They have to stop 6 times going to California with a load of diesel. They don't have to stop at all. How the hell can you do that? You're going to destroy our supply chain. You're going to destroy everything. You put everybody out of business. So we are going to do things based on common sense. We're not going to allow men to play in women's sports. We're not going to allow people to pour into our country. We're going to get your taxes way down. We're going to save your Social Security. We're going to save Social Security. Biden is putting your Social Security at risk by allowing all of these people to pour into our country. It's at big risk, and we're not going to stand for that. He is putting Social Security at risk. With me, your Social Security is 100% safe. Okay? Please.
Yes, Mr. President, thank you for taking our questions.
Thank you.
I'm a retired vet who had to close down my business because of the disastrous Biden economy. It's been tough. What's your plan to make sure other small businesses don't go through the same grinder?
Well, they have to. And, you know, it's incredible. We had it going. And I poured money in to our country, and I'm sure you were a beneficiary at the time. But I poured money in to keep those businesses going and to keep people employed because of COVID. COVID was a disaster. And we were able to get through that, and we got through without going into a depression. But with Biden, he's spending money on the wrong things. He's not spending money on you. He's spending money on things that don't work. He's got the most expensive forms of energy ever, where everything's subsidized. He's got windmills all over the place. Every time you see a windmill going up, you need tremendous subsidy. Now, it kills your birds. It ruins your landscape, ruins the value. If you have a house and you can see a windmill, your house is worth half. But it's also the most expensive energy there is. And we have to get back to the basics. And we have to be able to help people like you, not to help his friends who make all this crap. And much of it's made, and you know, a lot of it's made, most of it's made in China. It's made in China. There's something going on. Why somebody would want to do these things where the product is made in China. That goes for electric cars too, by the way. But the windmills are all made in China and some in Germany, but most of them are made in China. What the hell are we doing, right? We'll take care of you. You watch. Thank you. I understand exactly what you're saying, too. Just hang in. Yes, sir.
Mr. President, thank you very much. My name is Jorge Rivas. It's truly an honor to be talking to you again. And real quick, my wife, Betty, would like to say hi to you real quick.
Whoa. Look at her. Yeah. Thank you, Betty. Thank you very much.
Latinos really do love you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
And I do mean that.
I love them. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And besides loving you, we're also praying for you, Mr. President. You'll be all right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very nice.
My wife and I own a small restaurant in Tucson, Arizona, Sammy's Mexican Grill.
Right.
And since the pathetic Joe Biden administration took over, the prices of everything that we use doubled.
Yeah,
just a couple of months after they took over. So would you be helping us out? And is there going to be some drill, baby drill?
Yeah. You know what's so interesting about it? we're going through questions, and I have time. What the hell else do we have to do today? Let's stay, right? But I have time. But do you notice that the questions are basically about the border? Think of it. All these questions, almost everyone about the border, they want border security, and they also want help on inflation because you're getting killed with inflation. The price of bacon has gone up 5 times. You can't order bacon. I don't order it anymore. It's too expensive. But bacon, as an example, has really, eggs, all of this stuff, it's gone up at levels that nobody has ever seen before. But I believe the energy is going to bring it down. I think we can bring it down. And then once it starts that spiral, it's going to be a beautiful thing. Because, when they say we're at 4% now, they're not including the fact that you might be 45, 50% higher than you were 4 years ago. So it's not 4%. We have to get it down. We have to bring it down. The best way that we can bring it down is with interest rates and energy, and the interest rates are going to follow the energy down, and that's going to follow the bacon and the eggs down, okay? Thank you. And you have a beautiful wife. Thank you. Thank you. I love that. I like that hat. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. It's an honor to stand before you.
Thank you. It's my honor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
My name is Jose, and I own a small business that provides services for special needs children and adults.
Great.
And thank you so much. And I have a question for you this afternoon. Time and time again, we come across paying American citizen families that are denied services that their child requires, while on the other hand, we see others rushing across the border freely and easily receiving, easily receiving assistance. What will you do, Mr. President, about the influx in immigration, strained resources because of this widespread and open border, sir?
So we have to get them out. Look, it's not sustainable for us to have 20 million people that we have to take care of, and it's just not sustainable. And their countries, I know the leaders, I know them just about all, their countries are doing this because they're smart. I would be the leader of the pack. If I ran Honduras, if I ran El Salvador, if I ran some of these countries that are sending vast numbers of people, I would be emptying out our prisons. I'd say, listen, send them to those stupid people in the United States who are led by idiots. Send them into the United States. Let's have empty prisons, and let's never let them come back in. Venezuela said the other day that we're never allowing the people that they sent out to come back into Venezuela. Okay? That's not going to happen. But they said that. So they are sending them out, and they're saying you can never come back because they're letting the bad people. We're going to stop that, and we're going to deport, and we have no choice. Dwight Eisenhower was so far the biggest deporter. He was a president that hated to see what was happening. He had a lot of people pouring into our country. It was really hurting our country badly. And in many cases, people would say destroying our country because they were just coming in. Nothing like what you're witnessing today, by the way. But he did very big deportation and very successful deportation. If we had a choice, it would be nice not to have to do it. We have to do it because this is not sustainable for you or for any other business in this room. It's not sustainable for our country. So we're going to deport, and we're going to get it back, and we're going to bring our country back, and we're going to make our country bigger and better and stronger than ever before. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello, Mr. President. My name is Jeanette Garcia. I am an Army combat veteran, a prior federal police officer here at Luke Air Force Base. I've seen a fair share of challenges in my life. I'm a domestic violence survivor as well as sexual assault. I'm a single mother, and the crime rate's rising. I'm really worried about the safety of our communities and families. What specific steps are you planning to take to tackle and make our community safe again?
We have to back our police. We have to back law enforcement. We have to give them back their respect and their honor and their dignity, and they're great people. We have to do it. And the people that are most affected are really the minority communities. Those are the people that are most affected. And I really think that's one of the reasons we have so many African-American people supporting us. Nobody's ever seen anything. They're leaving the Democrats in numbers that nobody's ever seen before because you know what? They have to be safe. They have to be safe. Thank you. That's a great point. Thank you. Please. It's a beautiful baby.
Thank you.
Can't do better than that. That's beautiful. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, Mr. President.
Hi.
My name is Emily. This is my daughter, Felicity. We live in northern Arizona. It's beautiful and quiet and nice and everything, but it's also in a rural area. My concern is that the nearest equipped trauma hospital is over an hour and a half away. What can your administration do to give rural Americans better access to hospitals?
Well, we're going to be helping rural America. Rural America votes for Trump. There's nobody going to take that away. And we'll be helping. They've been building. We started a process for building hospitals and other things in rural America. And I'm going to keep that going. They ended it in the Biden administration, as you know. But we're going to keep that going. Rural America, look, it's the backbone. It's the heart of our country. We'll take care of it. Okay? You just hang in. We'll get it done. Thank you. Okay, how about one more if it's a good one? We'll end on a good one. Always end on a good one, right?
Got to
Go
follow
ahead.
the baby, so we don't know about that.
That's right.
So I'm an advocate for many senior citizens.
Good.
And they are struggling financially. Their Social Security checks do not make it through the month. They have to sometimes pick between food and medication. They're concerned that they're not going to be able to survive 4 more years of Biden. What can you say today to give them some hope and encouragement?
Vote for Trump. What can I say? Because they won't survive through Biden. I think that's a good question. Thank you. That was a very good question. Thank you. So we'll just end by saying it's been an honor to be with you. So interesting, though. Everything was about the border and about inflation and the economy. It's incredible. And every question, some of it sounded repetitive, but it wasn't really repetitive. It was just from the heart. And frankly, it very much is about the border. The border's destroying our country. We're being destroyed in many ways. We're not respected in the outside of our country. I say we have the enemy in from within, and we have the enemy from the outside. And I'm telling you, we are in more danger from the enemy from within with these lunatics, these fascists, these communists, and we're going to stop that also. But it was so interesting to get those questions because they all concern the economy, inflation, and the border, and we're going to take care of it all. We're going to make America greater than ever before. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. Great.
How great was President Trump? Give it up for him one more time. Everybody, we need to make it too big to rig. Please go visit the tape.
Live pictures from Phoenix, Arizona right there for the Chase the Vote event. Out there on the West Coast, you saw President Trump, doing a great job with a speech and then taking that quality time for a Q&A letting the American people ask him direct questions right there. Obviously, a lot with the economy, a lot with the border situation, and overall dealing with the Constitution, right? We want our freedoms to be intact. So President Trump there speaking in Phoenix. This is day one of his 3-state tour on the West Coast. So stay with Right Side Broadcasting Network for President Trump's next moves, including which will be in Nevada, so Las Vegas on Sunday, June 9th. We'll get to that in just a second, but we do want to thank our great sponsors right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. One of them is the Birch Gold Group. All you got to do is text Trump to 9998. That's Trump to 989898. This is just some peace of mind for the backup plan when it comes to finances. If you have a few extra bucks, why not think about gold, silver, precious metals? And all you got to do is text Trump to 98. Next up, we thank the Wellness Company. Their emergency kit is a must at your house, and there are certain medical get this actual kit, but there's some there, as you see on screen: ivermectin, Z-Pak, great.com, all the information you need through that, and hopefully get one of those emergency kits as soon as possible. Tax Network USA. Obviously, April 15th is come and gone, but if you have any issues with filing or any back taxes, all you have to do is reach out to Tax Network USA. They'll be with you every step of the way and help you get that all taken care of. We're doing so much, right? You got to have some peace of mind. And this situation, when it comes to taxes, they'll help you out right there. So that information is on your screen as well. FreeTrumpBook.com. Mike Huckabee down there in Tennessee has a great show, but also he's got a great book. FreeTrumpBook.com. All that indoctrination that's going on with the woke teachers out there not telling the truth about what happened between 2016 to 2020. Well, that book right there will give you some more context and the truth of the great things that have happened during President Trump's presidency. And hopefully there'll be a Free Trump Book Part 2 between 24 and 28, if you know what I mean. The limited edition Dark Day in America hat. Now, I mean, that sounds like, who wants that? Well, this is a great hat because it says Make America Great Again, kind of showing obviously that it is a dark day in America with what's going on in our country. But you can sport this cool hat as well by texting HAT to 88022. So that's text HAT to 88022. Get in touch with the Trump campaign on that one and get that hat right there. Sport it out there. Sport the red one. Sport the green one. I saw those in Iowa early on in the primary. Great hat right there that you can get. Also, the RSBN newsletter, rsbnetwork.com/newsletter. You get some special offers and also special reporting into your email inbox. Stay up to date on everything President Trump. Also, when it comes to America First issues that we see going on out there, stay up to date with RSBN by going to rsbnetwork.com/newsletter. Also, rsbnetwork.com/donate as well. Anything you could do to help would be great. At the end of the day, the lights, the camera, the live situations that we see there in Phoenix, and then the live rally coming up in Las Vegas. If you'd like to give a few bucks, that's great. If you don't have it right now, no worries, but we're here for you. We're on the same team as you, the American people. We want to show you the truth. We want to show you the full rallies, and we will continue to do that, especially throughout this election cycle. So once again, it's rsbnetwork.com/donate. So 72 hours from now, we'll be seeing you live in Las Vegas. Vanessa Broussard and Paul Ingracio will be there on the ground in Vegas from that battleground state. Once again, President Trump leading in all of the polls throughout the country for hopefully the 47th presidency, November 5th. So a lot of news happening obviously today. There's the 80th commemoration and 80th anniversary of D-Day, We want to thank you, veterans, for the work and the service that you have for our nation. And we thank those that were, that are still alive, that were out there in Normandy, France today, when some guy named Biden was trying to do a speech. But regardless of him, we want to thank you guys so much for what you have done for our nation. That is a heartfelt, sincere call for you guys out there that are watching. Also, one other quick note. Today was the 20th. Today was Ronald Reagan passed away 20 years ago today. So we also remember him. So I'm Matthew Alvarez here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. We'll see you in 72 hours in Las Vegas on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Parents and grandparents, the 2024 Kids Guide to President Trump is here, and it's free. As a bonus, your child gets a free issue of Everbright Kids Magazine and Activity Book, and a free video lesson. Order now at freetrumpbook.com. That's freetrumpbook.com.
What's up, guys? My name is Jaden Hurd, and I'm the host of the Let It Be Heard show here on RSBN channel. I would love for you guys to check me out. I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Rumble, YouTube. We release episodes every single week regarding culture, Bible, social issues, politics, current events, anything. So if you're into any of that stuff, I highly recommend you check me out. God bless you guys, and stay safe out there.
Welcome to the Right Side Broadcasting Network. We're not like the other media outlets out there that cut and edit what other people say. In 2015, we were created by our founder, Joe Seals, to cover President Donald J. Trump's speeches and rallies, to which we continue to do to this day. We've also covered important conservative events like CPAC, TPUSA, March for Life, and many other important events and hearings around the country. We were made for people like you, everyday Americans who are tired of the mainstream media, who are tired of being lied to, manipulated, and fed an agenda. Our goal here at Right Side Broadcasting is to allow you to see the truth, giving our correspondents and commentators a wide latitude to speak their minds. You won't find anything like this in the mainstream media. Your support through your donations, locals, and supporting our advertisers allows us to continue to cover important events around the country each and every day. So, from us here at Right Side Broadcasting, thank you for supporting us and the right side of history.